Okay, so welcome to our next game of D&D. We're up to session number 81. I actually had to look at the number again because even though I just typed it in, I forgot straight away. As those things happen. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Before you get too far into it, I just let you know the music has been very much cutting in and out that I've been hearing, so during that introduction.
Yep.
I think that's your
So whether or not that's a problem with the sound that you might want to check before getting too far, I don't know.
I believe that might have been the connection because it was smooth and clear here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, streaming stuff through the internet always has a few problems and hiccups.
That's fine. It's what I mentioned before we ended up with a session without sound or something.
I've just checked all the feeds to make sure that the sound's coming in on each of the microphones. And it seems to be picking everything up clearly, which is good. Okay. And I've tried to keep the music down low so it should be a lot clearer for you. I think it might have overwhelmed by being too high in sound. Because it was quite loud here.
Yeah.
Well, for my ears anyway. Okay, so that was the Cursor Strand, the Lands of Barovia sounds, which come from Sirenscape, and I basically play various ones to give nice themes and then forget completely about it while it's in the background. Okay, so with our game today, online we have Jeremy.
Yes, good evening all. I am playing Atruaghin, the Atruaghin tribesman of the plateau that has been sent out into the world by Atruaghin himself as well as the clans to gain more awareness and understanding of the outside world so that then he can return to take his apparently now destined place as the shaman of the tribes and chieftain of the new Dragon Clan. Or Dragon Tribe, I should say.
Dragon Tribe. If it was Dragon Clan, it'd be even more worrying.
That's right. Dragon Tribe, part of Turtle Clan.
Sorry about that, guys. That's a pretty rough reception at the moment.
We can understand, David. You just turned up just in time to introduce yourself.
Hello. I'm David. I play Pain. The absolute definite not moral compass. It's so bad I can't even make a joke about it. The reprehensibly evil character who is being compelled, forced under pain of pain to do his overlord's bidding, and apparently that means that he's in this party. He hates it. He wishes you were all dead.
So he is forced to do good for an evil character. That's actually quite funny.
It is very funny. I like it.
He hates it, and every time he thinks bad thoughts, he's racked with terrible, terrible pain.
So that's why he's in pain all the time.
In constant agony?
Yes.
Well, he's waiting for that one time when we go into this massive anti-magic sphere and you all die, so he gets to laugh a lot without being in pain.
Right.
I feel like he'd be waiting a long time.
I'm sure it'll still be worth it if he's in pain.
One day, one day.
Okay, at the table today we have Paul.
Who is Cluel, blue hair or dark haired, well, mostly blue haired, pretty boy, diplomat, elf, healer, warlock, and unannounced shadow elf prince.
And the Shadow Elf of Legend.
And the shadow elf of legend, but no one is supposed to know about that. Because no one will believe it.
Until you read the story published by Dragon.
Sounds like a massive net.
That's going to get interesting if he does actually publish that. A lot of people will probably point at it and go, that's fantasy. But
Yeah,
hey,
they'll probably go like, that's a fiction.
yeah, of course, shadow elves don't exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, he has been writing non-fiction for fiction for quite a while.
Yeah.
Especially considering the one about Tidal and his family.
Yes.
There's no reason why he can't write one about the Shadow Elf and make it a bestseller.
Mm-hmm.
So, next up we have is Jeff.
Playing Tolicus, a human of...
Dubious intent?
Yeah, pretty much. He dresses plainly. Always seems to be spinning a coin, playing with cards through his fingers. for some reason, he has a hard time finding people to play games of chance with. I don't know what.
Second time anyway.
Well, even the first time, it's like I'm constantly walking along. You're like doing the coins just rolling over his fingers.
You look a bit obvious.
And he doesn't even know he's doing it. It's just he's always got to be. He has. He's fair skinned.
Mm-hmm. Just in time to go to the desert.
Yeah.
Time to get a burn.
The set again. It was we decided. On,
we went with Alphatian.
Yeah.
But from the
Nuari
descent. Even though most of them are darker skinned.
Yeah.
Because of their dark aspect.
Yeah. And he has just like when his shirt's slightly open, you notice he looks like he's heavily tattooed underneath. Like he's got like the
sailor tattoos everywhere.
You sell it, but obviously because of his profession of gambler, he doesn't tend to have them all over. Like he's got the full face tattoos and that, but you can see just sort of creeping up his neck and just along his wrists and that.
Carefully applied makeup will actually hide those things.
He doesn't care too much about that.
You know, if the face thing was something that he really wanted to pursue,
and I'm sure Payne can show you how to burn them off.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I have a feeling Payne will do that.
There are painless ways to do that.
Why would you go the painless way?
And
You guards are trying to make you stronger through pain. That's what I'm being told all the time. Anyway.
It's hard to
You've been talking to the wrong guy.
Expert in tattoo removal.
I said that.
I'm very good.
It's hard to get a read on to a degree. He's not very. Pretty much, you know, he's a sailor. Just obviously.
And a gambler because he keeps flicking coins around everywhere.
Yeah, and every time you guys are at a tavern or a caravan stop and that, he tries to get a bit of cash from the locals.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Tolicus introduced. Then we have Ariadne.
Oh, can I take a moment here? And I know it's not as funny the second time, but what was it that David said? Because I was talking over him and I regret that now.
You were saying that Payne is very good at removing tattoos.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes, I'm very, very good at removing tattoos. And faces.
Faces.
I get the impression you'd want to, if you took someone's tattoo off, you'd eat it, or have it tanned and you'd mount it on a
Drumskin.
mount on the wall.
Why would I eat human? It's disgusting.
Drumskin.
Hey, David,
Apparently, it just takes like pork.
did Payne have a horse?
Not anymore.
I'm concerned just where this joke is going.
Because I'm sure you're going to get to ride it all the time this time.
And have combat on horse.
Oh, someone, yep. Poor.
You'll never be on horseback.
If I update my look but anything's not okay, you'll let me know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I am Calgrix, the white dragon with the jazz wings. But I have recently come back from the Dark Realms, investigating and making friends with the Queen of Darkness and her avatar. Thus I have black appointments now, right where these go. And because I'm also pursuing Silver Dragon, all my white scales now have a silver edge.
Ooh.
So it looks super cool.
You do.
I have come and joined this party on behalf of my good friend, the gnome artillerist Duke and Cover, who's stayed behind to help a bunch of elves fight a war. Hopefully.
Because explosions.
Myself and my companion, Grindelwaffle Brewmaster, and my plant, now renamed Eep, because I did decide that sounded better, will have lots of chances to promote our coffee bean and coffee business all over the world as we quest away.
Love that.
I have a mission to wake everybody up so that they can now claim that they're woke.
I've never eaten dragon before, but I sure would love to.
Not me personally, but other
That
dragons.
would be,
you know.
That's where you offer to give him mouth to mouth and a lightning straight in.
yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we could do that. I love that idea actually.
Yeah.
Here, let me resuscitate you. That.
Are you human?
No, he's an elf.
He's an elf.
Okay, I've never eaten elf before, so maybe we can exchange.
That's like chicken.
Well, I am a healer, so we could probably make that work.
I was thinking that.
Oh dear.
Heal having
regenerate
children, I
things,
could
right?
eat.
Brain restoration?
What am I turning myself
yeah.
into?
That's a good question.
Insanity.
And then we have Kesley.
I am playing.
Party, so nothing good.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
David's joined, so nothing good. I'm playing Kupamati Aokai. She goes by Lonnie. She's a human Makai Islander fighter, weapons master, former sailor. Ended up helping Drazzle with some things. Became extremely loyal to him, and so she joined this party to help out, and has now made her new crew. And she's willing to do everything she can to protect those around her. So she is here to make titles for herself, not necessarily diplomatic titles, just titles.
Just cool things.
Just to be cool, and just to have a good time. So, yeah.
Would you be after a cloud skiff? Now that would be a thing to get hold of.
Sure, why not? Lonnie doesn't know a lot of things. She's just she's not dumb.
No,
but
it's
she's just like, yeah, no, that would be cool.
They're a bit out of our price range at the moment, though.
Which one's the?
They're 30 grand.
What are you looking for?
The cloud skiff.
The cloud skiff.
Is that like a floating?
Which one's that from?
No, it's like here to the kitchen lawn.
So where's the cloud skiff from?
It's 5th edition.
5th edition.
Yeah.
I was just wondering which book it was from.
Oh no, I can't remember exactly which book it was.
Well, that means you can look it up and.
But we can. Yeah, it's easy enough to find.
If it's cool, Lonnie is in.
Because most of the flying vessels have made their way over to Alphatia.
Yes.
Anyone who flies generally ends up there at some point, but Alphatia has recalled every sky ship in the world.
Because.
Does that mean if we did pull together 30 grand and get a cloud skiff, we'd end up in Alphatia?
You'd have to go there to buy it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I would say part of the purchase contract is if we call on you, you turn up. And
they've called,
we enforce that.
And they have called on everyone, no matter which plane they've travelled to.
Yeah.
As Alphatians are the plane travellers of the setting, they're the scariest ones to recall the fleet.
Yeah.
So rumours have it that they have the biggest sky fleet in any sort of history building at the moment, and that they are looking at the region you guys are from as their deployment zone.
Yes.
Things may or may not be wrong.
And when you can have something a mile up in the air raining down destruction upon you, makes it very hard to retaliate.
Well, I can rain lightning from above, but probably not to the same degree.
They're big enough that the dragons don't want to take them on. It's the first time there's a fleet big enough to challenge the dragons.
Yes.
And having the dragons actually leave the field and not actually found anywhere in the region except for Calcrix is a shock for a lot of people.
Makes me the brave one and all the rest scaredy babies.
Yep.
Or you've been given leave to disobey orders.
If I've been given leave, am I technically disobeying?
It depends on who gave you leave and who gave you the orders.
Do we know who gave me leave? Do I know who gave me leave?
You do.
Okay, cool.
But no one else does.
That's fine. I just need to know that it could be a problem at some point. Excuse me if I run off a lot at the moment. I've had injections today and I get spasms. And
So good.
I might need Voltaren and stuff like that.
So one thing Calcrix does know is that the dragons themselves are arguing.
I'm going to write that down in just a second.
That's
interesting.
Is it Mummy and Daddy are fighting, or is it the whole family is in a brawl?
It's their entire belief system is being questioned at many levels. And
I'm going to dramatically write down here, the dragons are arguing.
Yep, and it's not a pretty argument, and they've taken their
It's not pretty.
and they've taken all their forces from around the world and brought them to their capital city, which is hidden. It's so hidden that no one else knows where it is, which is why any city of the dragons is called a hidden city.
Right.
Can only be found by a dragon.
Have we recapped yet?
That was part of the recap.
Oh, sorry, I apologize.
That is part of the recap.
Cool. Because I'm not writing very fast. I'm like, is this just for me, and should I rush it down, or should I be trying to? Yeah.
It's one thing your character does know about that stuff. So with what Lani does know is that the islands are all currently dealing with a war under the sea.
Right.
And the war is not pretty. It's dragged in the Minrathad, the Erendi, and a few other races under the water. And no one travels through that area. Even the pirates are scarcely move through it.
Can I suggest a title for this great game?
Yeah.
It's not pretty.
Valid.
Well, he's just said it again. I'm like, I sense a theme here.
So the Thiatans for Jeffrey's character are doing the whole recruiting. Everyone's now a member of the Army, Navy, or their Air Force. And if not, you're about to be recruited to the Army, Navy, or Air Force.
Only you stayed in Fire.
Well, technically, you were recruited. You just weren't there to be given the notice.
Voluntary.
Yes. So if you ever go to Thayasha, they go, "Oh, you've come here to complete your sign-up."
So
Excellent.
you would know that your name has been listed upon the list of deserters from Thyatis.
Oh, we are.
No.
Just.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
well.
Yeah, but I have a feeling
Because
they
they were recruiting you and you weren't there, they've listed you as deserter. There's no you got out in time. You weren't there when we're trying to deliver papers. You're listed as a deserter of the military. So when you come,
I probably actually got the papers, and I just.
if you got the papers, you wouldn't be
crane.
able to get out. That's how bad the
My
paperwork
friend,
is.
that makes you a disgusting draft dodger.
Yep.
Yes.
So the paperwork
the
is a
alliteration.
magically binding contract
cackle.
that stops you
Yes.
being able to act against it.
He cackles well.
Once delivered to you, you are bound to it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so now there are 4 again.
Yep. So the Thiatans designed and built most of those contracts with the help of the gnomes.
Yeah.
Between the two, they are the best contract makers in the world.
Like the gnomes. They're on my list.
The gnomes version is harsher than the Thiatans version,
But then I've been reading
because
the
their
rest of
version
it.
of a contract is if you breach the contract, you become a power source and they rip your life from you.
Oh.
I promise if you get your
Excellent.
next one, I won't
Add
trouble.
gnomes to list. Step 2. Make a list first.
So with Llewell, he has heard that the elves are currently trying to figure out what to do with the fact that the trees haven't started growing again, and that the power of each of the trees of life at every clan is dwindling.
What was the start of that sentence, if
Yeah.
you can remember it?
Llewell has heard
Yes.
that the trees of life power.
Yeah. I just missed who wasn't growing again, and I'm like,
All good.
You see,
Yeah.
the trees are dying. I
I'm gonna do
tried
something
once.
useful and
It
get
didn't
my
take.
hearing
It was
aid.
rather
Yes.
boring.
Yes.
And with the fact that the trees are not coming back, the power lines and ley lines that make up Alfheim are starting to break.
Yes. So that war has to finish pretty quickish.
You don't think it's going to finish quickly.
I know.
You don't think it's going to finish anytime soon.
In any reasonable time.
Wars have a bad habit of going longer than
Yeah, I
they
Because
know.
for the war to decisively finish, the Sylvan Realm needs to be wiped out. That's the quickest way for the war to end. Anything beyond that, and it's going to take a long time. You would have realised that as a character.
Yes.
For
it's
the
going to
tree
get bad, but it could be worse.
for the tree to survive,
yeah,
they
well,
can't
it's
do
not
it
sticking to
quickly.
their schedules.
Yeah. How dare they
Yeah.
bring the whole world into
Actually, I get the impression that it's going to take long enough that there will actually be saplings to give to people, not just seeds or seedlings.
Well, most of the time, it's not seedlings or saplings; it's a cutting,
Yeah.
and you've got to then grow a child from the cutting.
Well, the main thing we should be concerned about, rather than the war as a whole, is the fact that where someone's trying to sell a majorly destructive artifact
Well,
that
that's
will
that's
take
the,
out the
that's,
city.
that's the thing that's an immediate problem, because the war we can't do anything about right now.
So with those things happening, you also have Drachnomir finding out from the clans that they are preparing for something that has never happened in the lifetime of the clans.
Oh,
And that is they've got a unification date.
Ooh.
oh,
And it's not a unification of peace.
no.
It's a declaration of war.
Hmm.
A declaration of war within the clans, or declaration of
Oh,
war
with-
external to the clans?
With the clans, with something else. Otherwise, you wouldn't be unifying.
Well, I
So
mean, that's what I wanted to confirm. Hey,
Yeah.
we could all be unified in war against each other.
Okay.
which is what they usually do. They usually fight amongst themselves.
I know, but
That's right.
And
but
so-
they don't do unifying first.
What I was trying
Sorry.
to get out there is,
Yeah.
so most people hear that the clans go to war with themselves or as tribes. So this is their general marriage way. Generally, when a clan or a tribe declares war, they're attacking another clan or a tribe to
Yeah.
gain mates and increase the size of their clan. That's basically how they do their marriages and relationships.
Yeah.
Just a quick clarification. The stuff that only Calcrix knows, is it that the dragons are arguing, or is it the dragons are arguing and they've all gathered in one hidden city?
Both.
Okay, so
Most people think the dragons have disappeared and have retreated to their hidden cities. What you know is they've retreated to one city.
city.
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh,
the
by the
next
way-
clarification.
Sorry, carry on. No, carry on.
My second one was, this is information only to me. The other information that's been shared at the table right now,
Yeah.
do I...
That
all
that's
of
for
us
each.
agree-
That's for each of the characters
So-
to decide if they want to tell the others.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to finish with Jeremy.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll
alright,
do that.
so I just wanted to check before I wrote all of this stuff
Yep.
down. Okay, cool, nice.
All cool.
No, you're good.
Okay, so Jeremy, what I was trying to say there with that is the rumors are that the clans will then explode out from their protected areas and push back everyone else who's been insulting them over the years with their horrid use of metal.
Hmm.
Right.
The horrid use of metal that will now probably become one of the few things that is useful in this war of magic/no magic.
Well, the Atruaghins don't even use metal coins, so people who trade with them try to give them metal, which is an insult to them.
I
And
see. Yes.
So there is talk that you're expected to be one of their generals.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, what's that going to mean for our party?
So you sort of look at it going, I'm not sure I like this thing, because you even have the Tiger tribe, which is hated by all the other tribes, welcomed into that argument.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, like, it's certainly not necessarily a surprise, because hey, we were actually coming around to the occasional large inter-clan warfare, as opposed to the smaller scale stuff, and maybe Drachnima can at least direct some of the initial focus towards, say, a certain master of sin.
Yeah.
They are currently looking at Darrakan as their main point of egress, because
I did think
they
that was like-
share most of their border with Darrakan.
Yeah, and also obviously Darrakan are those most evil of gold, silver users.
That they use more metal than anyone else in history.
They are the most sinful of them all.
Way too much money.
Well, for the Atruaghin side of things, if they
shut
carry
up,
too
you
much
old
metal, they
bats.
can't
Just
talk to the
let's go and
spirits.
fix it.
Yes. So,
Okay.
so if you're paying an Atruaghin, use gems or food.
Food. It's
So-
gotta be food. I'm a dragon.
What Payne has also heard in his time trying to figure out what's going on is that the Wendarian nation is still under siege by undead, having lost the gem that protected them many years ago.
This wouldn't be a green seed-like looking gem, would it?
Yep.
Guys, you're not going to believe this song. The Wentarians, are getting absolutely done over by the undead.
Just to
It's
briefly
hilarious!
say, Calquet's
You
going
should have seen it!
Yeah. You're having far too much fun.
Yeah. And from the perspective of the players, Ariadne's character managed to...
Oh, no, don't tell them. I'm going to be in so much shit.
Tell us.
So her character, with the help of one of the trickster gods, managed to steal the gem but has no memory of stealing it.
Oh.
And the entire party left with the trickster god making the elves think it was taken north, so they sent an expeditionary force north into an army of undead, and they've now basically triggered off a war between Windar and an undead nation.
And the trickster god is cacking himself.
And I have to
Ariadne,
say,
did you
in
tell
my
us
defense,
this?
I don't remember.
No, she hasn't told you that.
No, I don't remember.
And the amusing thing is,
Right,
David's...
so no one actually knows this.
Every time she thinks about it, she forgets all about the events that happened.
Yeah, only the player knows.
So, and to put that into another point of perspective, there is David's character was part of the group who went north to retrieve it,
Oh god.
and basically caused the war.
I told you you're going to get me in trouble.
It's true!
So, I thought you'd like the context for that one.
Do you guys know that the dragons have been fighting the giants and stuff? The last time I was alive, this one happened as well.
Right.
So you've just brought me into this party just so that I can be assassinated? Something I don't even know?
No, he's not allowed to do anything to you.
General rumours
abuse
of the dragons versus the giants is the dragons kept the giants in line, so the dragons disappearing has caused a vacuum there. The giants, the giants all were scattered and didn't have any city to their name, and now each of the races of giants has formed a city. So, considering the dragons had forbidden this, you can sort of say that there's something major has occurred, and that the giants created the first dragon-slaying weapons before they had the requirement to not make cities.
So what you're saying is that we're sitting in the middle of a worldwide disastrous event, but we don't know it yet.
We know about it.
The characters know that disastrous events are happening left, right, and centre.
Yeah, and we know it's all one. There's some cause behind it. We have no idea what it is.
And there's a whole bunch of things that lead up to this. Yeah. And at the point of reaching phase 3, I'll actually read you the cause of the war.
Oh, fun.
Because once you hear the cause of the war, you realise why you couldn't stop it.
Yeah, it's just god level stuff.
Presuming you finished your update, where does that leave us now?
So that leaves us now is you've taken on a task for Adrian to hunt down what's called a Devastation Orb.
Oh, that's right.
And it is a magical item designed solely for mass destruction. From what he could gather, it's not a great thing to do. What has happened on the side, which is for player information only, is Drazzle will have spoken to most of you about making sure that the orb is put in the back of his cart through the back door, or it will explode somewhere, causing more damage.
Yes, so he's going to, yes, putting it in the back of the cart, we do know, because he's told us, that it will put it somewhere and somewhere else.
One of my characters, though, in a different game, has seen the cart being loaded up.
I've seen him throw people into the back of it.
And you've actually gone in the back of it.
And asked... Yeah. And asked
Did
where
I
it
make
went.
it into the back?
And,
no, cool.
and the explanation he gave for where they went was more like, when did they go?
Oh, yeah.
But
his response was backwards.
Yeah. The way he put it, I think I was the only character at the table who actually understood him. Because I've normally been the only one who can actually understand what he's saying.
Right. So does that mean
Although
we're
I think
doing
that's a limitation of the players.
resupplying and heading off towards...
You had spent some time last session gathering your supplies for travelling in a desert. Yep. You were going to take the gate network to the city of Ylaruam, finding out that they treat women as property unless they're a paladin. But even though they treat women like that, a woman carrying a weapon and able to use it is enough to basically make them go, you're not from this culture, I'm going to ignore that and walk away and pretend you weren't there at all.
You're paladin enough, I'm going to go and have a cup of coffee.
Whereas if you actually present as a paladin, paladins are the exception to their rule. They are the top tier when it comes to respect. A paladin is a calling, not a race, class, or sex, so they always get looked after no matter who they are. And claiming to be a paladin and not being a paladin is a crime executable by death.
And they've got easy ways to detect it.
Some
people do.
They are also known as truthsayers. That is their tradition.
Yeah.
They are people dedicated to the truth, even though it can be an inconvenient truth.
Yep.
And the other thing that we wanted to try and do as well is actually work out who put the all up on market too.
Yeah, we're going to find. Find out because they can do it again.
There are multiple things you need to worry about. You need to worry about who created it.
Yep.
Who stole it, and who's trying to sell it. They may be three different people.
They all could be the same person.
They could be the same
Unlikely
person.
to be the same person who created it.
Well, it depends, because if they're doing it to destabilise, but they don't care who they destabilised, they could say it was stolen.
From what you got from rendering, he believed it was not the people who made it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's unlikely to be that particular circumstance, but yeah, we'll find out.
We need to find out who was crazy enough to make such an item in the first place.
Mainly because the items, once created, have a timer.
Yes.
So the people who create it would not then advertise it for sale, because it might go boom in the middle of the sale. It's not something you have the luxury of.
That's right. Redrin did say that the people putting it up for sale don't know it has a timer.
Yep. And there's a lot of things they don't know about it. It's just a powerful magical
We found
item.
a cool thing that's worth pots of money. You don't care about anything else. Yeah. By the way, Sky Skiff, I found the thing for that's in level up.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's in your world or not is a different thing.
Not yet. Yeah. It will get there eventually, because they do have flying ships.
Yeah.
And I do have the Spelljammer supplement, which we pulled into it as well.
Yes.
Because pretty much this is the setting that most of the spell jamming concepts were pinched from.
Yeah.
One of the things that stopped me reading comments on Facebook.
Yeah.
The Spelljammer idea is very nice, except for the fact that it really suits the planner concept.
Yeah.
As each setting is a plane.
Oh, yeah.
As the
Mystara, the execution for 5th edition rather than
the Mystara setting in comparison, it does have planes, but you can actually fly between star systems.
Yeah.
So the Mystara setting has science and magic, and both of them can travel between the stars.
Yeah.
Which is not Spelljammer. Spelljammer does not allow that level of travel.
Yeah. Well, what they've apparently done with Spelljammer is you're travelling through the astral sea.
Yes.
So you can have what Mystara has and also do spelljamming.
It was
because the astral plane is accessible.
But they were meant to be different. Each crystal sphere was a plane.
I know. Yeah. What they've done in 5th edition is there is no crystal spheres. Okay. You have each world is already listed as being in the astral plane, as well as all the realms of the gods.
Yep.
That's how they're doing it. Anyway, we're not doing that now.
We're not there at the moment. I was just using that as an example of that things. Okay, so yes, you were going to travel to Ylaruam City. I've given you another brief rundown on it. It is very Arabian Nights. So thievery, gambling, and all that sort of stuff is fine as long as you're not caught stealing or lying.
Right.
Fair enough.
So the fact that it's all there is part of their culture, but being caught doing it is also part of their culture. And those people generally don't do it more than once.
Yeah. Especially if they get a bit liberal on what they consider thievery, which might include, say, conning people. Or overdoing gambling.
Is it conning, or is it just helping a fool part with their money?
That can still be considered to be theft.
So it's a very fine line.
Well, it's not too far different to persuading someone to leave their money pouch on a table while they go and get a drink.
Yeah.
It's functionally the same. You're just doing it a different way.
Why would you do it that? Why wouldn't you just accidentally
That's what I'm saying. No. What I'm saying is conning people is the same as doing that. Yeah.
But the art is actually taking the coin first
From-
without having
yeah,
to make an
from the,
excuse.
from the point of view of people who want to think in legalese, that's
That was as well.
it's theft is theft for some.
Okay, so yes. Is there anything your characters want to grab before you head to Ylaruam City?
An umbrella.
I presume I've still got my water, endless water, my standard supplies in terms of food rations and things like that. That I think I'm good.
I want to get some, at least one spell in my ritual book. Now I can do this with my ritual book. Create food and water.
So you want to get that? Okay,
I know
so
it's going to take like a week to, or a training week to actually learn it.
that's fairly easy because I do have all the rituals.
Yep.
Where'd I put my ritual section? There it is.
This is the problem. I want all these rituals I want to learn and not a lot of time.
Okay, so create food and water.
So, second level spell from memory.
So that's from the celestial, the craft, and the water. So that's
Well,
create or destroy water.
Yeah. Well, considering the invocation I've now got, I can go and learn it from a cleric. It doesn't have to be part of my own spell list.
Mm-hmm.
It's just useful.
So create or destroy water. You're talking about?
Create food and water.
Create food and water, the third level one.
If that's
Seeing what else that came from. Yeah, both the celestial and the craft, secret craft, do it as well.
yeah.
So there's a few things that do it.
Yeah.
Is there a magic store here?
There is a magic store in Tyranny City.
Oh,
I'm not sure if
Darraken-
there's one in Ylaruam. You haven't gone to
Yeah.
Ylaruam yet.
Yeah. But
do I
Darraken is
have-
definitely a place to do this at.
Known of a place to go in Ylaruam, considering I've been there previously.
You never went to Ylaruam City.
Oh, okay, alright. But can we ask someone if there's like a place to get magic stuff in Ylaruam?
Well, you know of one in Darraken City, which
Okay.
sells almost everything.
Okay, well I
I
might
reckon
go
City is
there
certainly a place to get
first.
magic
That's
stuff.
okay by
That-
people?
that
Is
was
this the
fun.
eye store?
Yeah. I just thought I'd go there. while
So
I
the
can.
the store has EYE store. So it's the eye store.
And there's no fruit.
It's literally eye store.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You'll get it.
that's
Yes,
okay.
it is that.
Just give it a sec. You'll
No,
get
I've
it.
already got it.
He's yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
he's
so,
better.
and having come across this store in the past, it's one of the few places you've sworn you'll never try to steal from again. It was that bad.
Oh dear.
God, but that would have been so
Did he
funny
meet the
if he did.
manager?
He actually had to meet the boss.
Oh, you met the boss.
He has no memory of what the boss did or what he'd done, but he was a year older by the time he finished.
Oh.
I really wanted to make this mistake again.
No, I don't want to make this mistake again.
So, having lost a year of his life to no idea what happened, he has promised he'll never steal from them again. And as a magic store, they use magic to detect just about everything. So, you guys make it to the magic store this time.
Mm-hmm.
Which means I will bring up the magic thing on here so I can reference it.
So yeah, create food and water is interesting.
Which is something I'd prepared earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Which also helps that I have a dice roller.
Sorry, I got my bag of tricks that I haven't even used.
So your name is Tolkias or Tolkias?
Autolycus.
Autolycus.
Yes.
Okay,
in
so
You know, from Xenia and Hercules.
AUTO.
I've written it completely.
All the way
wrong.
it's spelled as TOLIKUS.
You got it TOL.
IKUS. I basically made the spelling up as I went. Tolicus.
So it's Autolycus, right?
Autolycus is fine. I couldn't say the full Autolycus, Prince King of Thieves, but Autolycus is fine.
I really like your spelling, please.
I just go to DOLIK-US.
DOLIK-US.
US.
Okay, so yes, you find the ice store quite easily in Darrakhan. It's always whenever you're looking for it around the corner.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it keeps going around the corner.
Oh yeah, it's wherever you happen to be, it's just around the corner.
What do we are?
Even when you go around the corner, it's still around the corner.
Describe any type of magic item.
What you feel you
Let's see if
need.
they got it.
So I just put away Calcrix's gear and money.
It's always useful. Okay, so yes, finding it has that same sign that you've been dreading all this time, hanging off the door. Always gives you a headache every time you see it.
Oh, I didn't do this.
Oh. Pain will love this store.
Though Pain doesn't feel any headache, only Autolycus does.
There is pain, and pain is not feeling it.
So the
Pain is probably not happy
inn
with
known as Yawning Portal also is the place that's always around the corner when you're looking for it.
If you guys,
Yes.
I've got some money. If you guys can find me a nice short sword or something like that in there.
That's right, you want a dagger or a short sword.
I want a short sword. I've got a magical dagger, but I also want a short sword.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
But,
You're not coming in?
I know.
There's a good chance they might sell a short sword, which is a sword that's a little too short.
I will
Okay.
endeavour to get you a
A
short
magical
sword.
one of these.
So I want a useful short sword, but
Yeah, I've got a mundane one you can have, but
I've got a mundane one as well.
well, okay, well,
Did
yeah,
you
we'll
want
look for
to do
something.
anything?
If it
It's
does something
magical.
that's cool, that's
Okay.
great.
I will endeavour to get you a short sword.
My plan is I just want something in case we come across something that requires magic.
Out of curiosity, how many of the characters, and to a lesser extent, how many of the players have dealt with the ice store before?
I have.
I have.
I apparently have, but I can't remember. I just do not want to
So-
go in there to find out.
So,
I think you should, because it's fun.
So you all going in knowing what to expect? That's fine.
I do.
It's where you can get deals that you can't get through purchase elsewhere.
yes.
Like I said, I'm happy staying outside. If I'm getting a headache just from seeing the sign, I don't fancy what I would be experiencing if I went in.
Yeah, no.
So I'm just going to find a street corner or something, somewhere to perch and wait for it.
There's going to be a tavern close by.
Yes, there is. Just happens to be a tavern as you look over there. It wasn't there before, but it's
the
there
Yawning
now.
Portal, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a good place.
Jack, you're really happy to stay with Autolycus while they go shopping.
Yes.
Dracnir doesn't like the place either.
No. But if you do things the right way in the Yawning Portal, you can use it to get all the way across town.
We've got a couple of beers or something.
Okay, you go in there, you see this really big pit in the center of the Yawning Portal, which is why it's called the Yawning Portal. And every now and then you see a group of people going down there. Very few times you see people coming out.
If Autolycus asks, Dracnima will explain that, yeah, you heard the rumours about the opportunity to do mapping down the new levels underground?
Yeah, that's in
That's
there.
there.
Yeah, they believe it was made by a mad mage.
They're like ordinary mages. Mad ones are just
Okay, so for the others, while you're sitting down having a nice relaxing drink, listening to spooky music coming up from the depths, the others enter the ice store. There is a sound of fireworks going off as you enter.
I like the bell.
And you have a deep-throated...
Calcrix is like, wee! And
Deep-throated...
Deep is like clapping and waving.
Sorry, just waiting.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just hard for me to get words out sometimes when I stop mid.
I'll try to restrain myself again.
It's all good. Sorry, I lost what I was going to say.
Fireworks?
No, it's okay. So you've made it into the store. Fireworks have gone off. What would you like to do?
Go up to the counter. Have a look around, see if there's anything of particular interest.
There are lots of people sort of moving around. They all sort of look very translucent, and everyone around you looks translucent. Even the same people you walked in with.
Yeah, everyone's in their own instance of the shop. They can just see each other.
You can see through them.
So we all look like ghosts?
Yes.
A bit.
Even to each other?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's a bit freaky.
Yes. Everyone gets their own instance of the shop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It also means, I think, that you don't have to worry about bumping into anyone else.
Is that?
That's true.
Yep, okay.
Walk through
But
somebody.
But you can stand.
But I don't remember what it looks like.
Yeah, walk through someone to test it.
You hadn't actually.
You never need to worry about having your pocket picked by another customer.
That's the other one as well.
And the thing is, it's never the same every time you walk in there.
Okay, so what's it look like this time, aside from the translucency?
That's a different thing that you didn't see last time.
Right.
Oh, okay, so is it 2 floors? Is it?
You can't see any floors anywhere.
Are there any shelves?
No, but there's a counter.
Okay, so just a counter, that's it.
Yeah.
And then like ghosty people.
Yeah.
People
Okay.
hanging out, going.
But I
"Ooh,
can see
stuff."
Lowell and Lani?
You can see
Yeah.
translucent people.
Yeah, but I can identify them as my
Sure, give me a perception roll.
mates. Okay. Is that a D20?
Mhm.
Like a D20. I suspect this might all go wrong.
Oh, no.
18 plus 5 at least on my perception.
So yes, you believe you identified Lowell and Lani.
Okay.
But
They're both going off in different directions.
What if I said I'm pretty sure it's a +7, but I will look it up on my phone?
There you
I will say the same thing.
Okay,
Mhm.
alright, that's fine then. I won't bother looking it up on my phone. Alright, I try to stay close to my peers.
Which one, Lani or Lowell?
Are you guys next to each other?
No,
or-
we just went in different directions,
Oh,
apparently.
okay.
You walked off.
I will stay next to Lani.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to the counter.
So yes, you make it to the counter. Behind the counter, you see a single eye floating.
Saves you demanding talk to management.
I will refrain from making the obvious joke because I'm diplomatic and don't do things like that.
And you have a feeling that it understood the joke you're about to make and it appreciates it. You hear that in your head.
Thank you for.
It doesn't have a
appreciating-
mouth, so it can't actually talk at you.
Yeah. Well, it was that, or it was going to vibrate the eye and make noises, which would have been weirder, I think.
That would have been weird and cool.
Yes.
Or the pupil might have moved up and down like a mouth.
Mm.
That would have been weird. That would have been definitely weird.
That would be awesome.
Anyway.
What an odd visual.
Yes. After one of a small category of items, magical short sword, useful for someone who needs to be careful about their movement.
It sort of thinks for a moment and says, and you hear in your head, they have one that they're willing to give away.
No, I prefer to go for just a basic magical one.
It is magical.
As in just a +1 sword.
I'm sure it's just a plus. It's a sword unlike any other.
Yes. So at the moment, because I'm not buying this for me, I'm going
Well, you're
to
not
go
buying
for-
it. We were offering to give
Okay.
it away.
Yes.
You are our
actually an issue.
1 millionth customer. This
Oh, that is a cursed
instance.
intelligent item for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect for Telecus.
Intelligence. Intelligent and or first.
Right. Okay. So you're willing to get a sword you have to bleed on to make work, or something.
He never specified.
It is 100% up
No.
to you
I'm
because
going-
I'm not there.
I
I'm
know.
nowhere.
I
And
know.
the next thing you know, this amazing sword appears on the bench in front of you.
It's very pretty. I have a look at it.
Mhm.
What sort of insignia on it? What sort of decorations? Does it give me an impression of what type or what sort of sword it is?
Well, it's the sort of sword you expect a noble to be wearing to court.
So I can think of at least 5 ways that can go really badly and would be why someone would be giving it away.
But it is a small sword.
No. No, prefer to actually purchase a
Says, okay,
Basic.
1 gold.
different sword than this one.
Okay, for a minute there it shimmers and then it's back
No,
again,
no,
and it's now
no.
got a
Not-
pink trim.
Not this sword.
Special edition.
You're trying so hard to give this away, it's really turning me off the idea of buying a sword in here at all.
No,
Can I have a plus
What he
1 or
hasn't
plus
yet to
2
do
short
is
sword,
that-
please? Nothing else on it.
the scabbard costs 20,000 gold. The sword comes free.
The fact that it's free is the issue.
Yeah, but the scabbard costs 20,000. It's
Yeah,
just a
and-
bonus with the
I
scabbard.
get
Yeah.
the feeling that this sort of line up with the sword somehow.
Quite possibly. Yes, but I'm trying
Not giving you
Well, I-
not screwy.
not to allow you to get screwed over. If you get screwed over, it'll be them, not me doing it.
It's always there.
Yes.
Okay. So it says, yes, we will sell you a sword of smackery dackery,
I like it.
and they give you one with this one is plain looking, doesn't have any ornamentation on it whatsoever, and the scabbard looks a little bloody.
Right. And it's not the other one they were trying to give me.
Not as far as you can tell.
Sorry.
No, okay. Could you get the other one and leave it on the counter while we do this transaction, please?
You see 5 different versions of the other sword appear on the counter. Each with a different colour scheme based on mood.
Come on, you gotta get this sword of Smackery Dackery just for the name.
I was going to say.
Yes, but it might be the same sword
I
again.
don't want to hear Tom
Yeah,
say, I
exactly.
draw my sword of smackery dackery.
The problem is, if Llewellyn buys it and it's cursed, maybe Llewellyn will be forced to use the sort of smackery dackery.
Normally, it only if you draw it and are you
Yeah.
cursed if it's a cursed weapon.
Like, yeah, I
Unless
just
it's
get worried with the GM says where it's like normally.
Unless it's a cursed legendary, at which point picking it up gets you attuned to it.
Yeah, it's also like when I say, "Are you sure?"
Yes.
And artifacts that tend to curse you at random.
Yes.
It's not actually cursed at all. It's just that its magical power is if you put the point in a cup and stir it around, it'll create daiquiris.
Yeah. This could
No,
be
you've got to
a
smack
great evening.
No, you've got to smack
unwinding.
the cup. Because that's the smackery daiquiri.
I love it.
Get cup, smack! It's a daiquiri!
Yeah, it's got like a huge magnet or something on the base of it
Yeah.
so that it won't knock over, and so when you smack
Oh,
it,
no,
it
you
goes
just
through.
hold it. You just hold it. And it's smack. It's whatever cup. It's now a daiquiri. But if that's its only power, that's not what he's after.
It's still considered a
And I
magic sword for
Yeah.
harming creatures that are only immune to magic.
That is true.
And that meets his requirement.
But my requirement, which he didn't, which I'm giving him, not what he's giving, is I want a +1 sword, basically something to make more useful in combat, better to hit damage, and nothing else.
You believe you've got one. And he's only offering 1 gold for it.
He's going to pay you 1 gold to take it.
You know you want it.
Come on, do it.
I'm not going to get away with this, am I?
Oh, you can get away with lots of things. It's just, what exactly do you want to get away with? You have a feeling you are talking to management at the moment.
Yes.
At least a part.
You think management's trying to get rid of old stock?
Oh yeah, and stock that he can't actually put a real price on, like all cursed items.
No, you can. Cursed items are worth money here.
Yeah. Well, you can break them down for stuff.
No, some people actually can use cursed items as if they're not cursed.
And old
That's
stock
a
could
pointless
just be something
implication. I
that's
can
really,
get that would
really
allow me to
old.
do that.
Yes. So cursed items
it.
have a value.
Sorry, what was
Oh
that?
dear.
And just because it's old stock, it could just be from some ancient empire or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Oh
It just
god.
doesn't look up to
Or if you're
the
smart enough, you can actually bully the cursed item into not being so useless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
well,
kind
let's
of
face
like
it,
that.
I think that would take more levels than we've got.
a powerful weapon of vengeance means that it's the only weapon you want to use, so therefore it's not cursed.
Good point.
There are many curses that are fantastic to use.
Yeah.
Especially when you give them to the person and say, here, I gift this to you in my belief in how wonderful you are, and then laugh to yourself as they curse themselves.
And go and kill their family. Slowly.
Yeah, that's more pain style, I believe.
But
Yeah.
but that's some cursed items will do things like that to you.
I wonder if he'd actually feel pain if he did that.
Yeah.
If he actually tricked someone into taking a cursed item and murdering their family.
Or
Only when he thinks about it.
yeah.
Well, the real question is, what do you know about it? What do you know about pain's restrictions? Which is very little.
We know what you've told us and nothing else. So
And usually when you buy
everything
things
else
for other people, you don't always get what you want.
is- yeah.
That's one of the things Lowell has learned.
Yes. Well, I have learnt very specifically. Right. Ask for exactly what you want from the shop, or you're going to get whatever they feel like giving you.
Well, you just made it very clear that the shop made me feel very uncomfortable to go.
Oh yeah.
So,
No. But I know. But I'm trying to get a basic sword that doesn't do anything special.
And as you look down it, you see the word Tolicus appear on the side of the hilt.
You're making this really obvious.
Personalized.
And the eye just blinks even though you see no eyelids.
Yes. Of course you did.
the words of Johnny Cash.
Yes.
I see that freight train coming.
Can I have a basic +1 magic short sword as well, please? I'll take both of them. And I'll apologise to you, or you'll end up with 2 short swords.
Or only, and maybe only one that I'll use.
Yeah.
It looked like your picture, though.
Yes. Except if it's cursed, I can only use that sword.
Well, it depends. It may just be a legendary item that talks to you in your sleep.
It also could be nice. It's just they're describing it badly.
Or it may only be useful for a very small very small group of people, of which you happen to be one of. That would be nice. But we'll find out.
Okay, so you get what appears to be another sword there, and they're asking for 12,000 for the +1 sword.
Just take the other sword. You know you want it. I don't have 12,000, I don't think.
I don't have 12,000, and I've got a reasonable amount of money on me. Actually, I do, but it's pretty well everything.
And it looks to be fairly beat up and well used.
Yeah. The other thing is +1 weapon's only like a few hundred.
+1 weapon would normally be
Or $400 or something like that.
it was for
400 normally.
Yeah, that's how much my data
Yes,
cost.
basically he's gone, I'm just going to price this well out of your
No,
reach.
you think it actually is worth 12,000. It's the story behind it that probably makes it worth that much.
Yeah, there is that.
And that's what I said. It looks well used. It doesn't look new. It doesn't look like it's just been made.
It's got history. It used to be just a +1.
Yep. Because a common item can be worth more than an artifact if it's been used for long enough.
Yes, but that's all of my available money, and you don't have enough. You don't have
I don't
enough to
have
pay me
anywhere
back.
near that.
So it is not a purchase I can make.
So you just grab the...
I'm going to get the one that the GM wants to give you.
No, I had those two there. It's like so. You find the sword in your possession with a gold
I
piece on
think
it.
it was just misunderstanding, but it's not too bad.
Actually, here's the thing. I'm going to try and dicker him down on price on the other one. Get it down to something remotely reasonable. I'm presuming it's probably not going to work.
I can't believe you took this sword. Wow, you're really done.
The thing is, I won't know that...
He's paying you a gold piece to take it, isn't he?
Yes, he did.
So you ended up taking the sword?
Yeah.
He said he wanted something that would pay for it. So the guy says, "Okay, I'll pay 1 gold." Yeah. So he paid him 1 gold to take the sword.
Yes.
And that wasn't a red flag to you? I can't wait to watch you die.
Should have been bright orange.
Sounds fair. Yes.
But, yeah.
It day glow. Well, he did.
Can I put you down?
Mr. Baldpuss.
Yeah.
Except for his tail.
Except for his tail. For some reason, I think they couldn't understand me. The noise of the dogs in there was just...
Wow.
Yeah, I had my ear hearing aid in and
Yeah.
I still couldn't hear a word anyone was
Yeah.
saying. So it's
Yeah.
okay. It
Well,
keeps
that's
his feet
no, that
moving
it is
as well.
valid at that point to say, can we please step outside so we can talk?
Not with 5 other dogs in the room and me with a walker and a cat that was freaking out. I just wanted him to be able to go back to. They have a back room that's soundproof. I just really wanted him to get there. So
Yeah.
I'm not that fussed about the tail. I was more worried about him being
Yeah, I know, but
scared.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is sort of,
Next time.
I'm going to go outside with my scared cat. Please follow me.
I'll be down.
So yeah. Anyway,
Okay, so yes.
So,
You wanted to try to talk him down for the sword?
I'll try and persuade him down on the sword.
Okay, he pauses for a moment and says, "What are you offering in exchange?"
I can give you the story and a sword. It's non-magical, but it has an interesting story behind it. Is that useful at all? To at least reduce the price on the other one? Because stories are useful.
So you want to give up the story completely?
Of the sword that you're offering?
No.
Then no.
Because I know what that question means, because that's what happened to him,
Yep.
is why he's now in Tractorful. Sorry. I could relate to the story, but I'm not giving you the story.
Terms not acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah.
I think
I'm
the one sword that you got for me.
yeah.
I'm trying to think. Do you need another sword, or you just sort of?
Well, no, I wanted to sort of just in case the one I'm getting just got paid to take away is bad to
So
have.
you
The other one might be
Okay,
useful.
finish
so-
it up? Because I was going to.
I'm-
I don't want to interrupt that.
No, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. I'm.
And what for you, sir? He says.
Pardon?
And what for you? Because you're buying these for other people. He knew that.
Yes.
And if you think of something for someone else, then it will know that too.
Spell scrolls. If you have any, I'll give him a list of half a dozen spells that I want to get. Basically, it's ones I want to learn as rituals, so I won't be able to use them immediately.
Okay, so he will sell you the ritual as a scroll for roughly the price.
Okay. So this price. So I'll just pick.
Pick a bunch of things, and
pick
we'll
some
worry
things
about the
with-
price later.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gets you sorted out. And Kelcrix.
Calcrix. Caleb's up to the counter,
Yep.
puts her feet on top and says, I'd like a short sword, please. Because she told Tolga she would get him a sword, and she
Yes.
doesn't know that, you know.
Yes.
So she's like, I'd like a short sword, please. I want to get one for my friend.
One for your friend.
Yes, please.
That's okay. We have already sold a sword for Tolicus.
Do you have any other swords?
We have other swords, but do you want it for Tolicus as well?
Sure.
Okay. In that case, then I've got the bargain for you.
Oh
What sort of
god.
bargain is it?
It's a sword that will make them wish that they had taken this one instead of the other one.
If they've got this sword, can't they have both swords?
You would think so, yes.
Maybe some armor.
It's a shame there's no adults next to me right now.
It is a shame, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. It depends on which adults might be in the store.
Lonnie is next to you, but she is not helpful.
Okay, alright. Well, just
I mean, Pain is with you as well, supervising your actions.
Lonnie's experience with the
Yeah.
garage store has been positive.
Right.
So,
so no one's going to intervene at this point. That's all I'm just checking.
no,
No,
because
we can't.
they sold Lonnie a bag that eats people's heads, and she ended up with like a Pokemon bag. So like she's perfectly fine with this.
Okay. Right. A Pokemon bag that eats people's heads.
So that's how they described it to her, was a bag that eats people's heads. I ended up with what's called a bag of tricks that pulls out animals.
Ah, I see. Yep. Okay. Awesome. Right. So
Yes.
it will make them wish they hadn't had the other sword.
Yes.
But if I give them this sword, why would they wish that?
It would be a great thing for you to experience.
I don't want to do that to my friend. Is there a different sword that I can get for my friend that isn't going to make them wish they had a different sword?
Hey, Martin.
Yep.
with Payne's inaction, is he suddenly feeling racked with pain?
With his inaction, no, he's not.
Cool.
This place has been one of your safe spaces where you don't have to worry about what you think about other people.
Oh, child, you should buy it. You should get it for him. It's the best thing you could do.
Oh
No,
no!
I don't. It doesn't sound. I don't like wanting something that I can't have. So this doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Is there a different sword?
Says, yes, I have what is considered the best sword on the market. He puts it on the table.
Is it the same sword?
No.
Okay. What am I seeing?
You're seeing a sword with many sigils up the blade, and it glows with an inner light.
And what sort of sigils are these? Can I tell?
You can't tell by looking at it. You've not seen them before.
I ask about the sigils.
Says they're magic.
What kind of magic?
Magic that lets it hit and kill things.
Will it hit and kill my other
You are
teammates
so
or the
screwed.
person I give it to?
Depends on if you give a point first.
Okay, no, I'll make sure I'll hand it over that.
Yeah,
How much is it?
This one, it will set you back, he thinks for a moment, 300,000 gold.
I don't think it will. I think it will cost 50 gold. Don't be ridiculous.
He looks at you and says,
Patrick's is now looking up at Payne and then looking back at the eye.
And then maybe a couple of
the eye goes, okay, I will reduce it to 200,000 gold and a story I can keep.
Considering that you gave the sword away, you paid our friend a gold to take the other sword, I'm sure that this sword is only worth 50 gold.
This sword is more useful.
Imagine Valkyrie's playing tennis.
Right.
How about I
And she's,
tell
like,
you the story
really
of a man
invested now.
forced to live, and you give it to her for 50 gold.
What, so you work for me for the lifetime of the cost of this blade, and I give the sword to the dragon? Is that what you're saying to me?
No, moron! I said I would tell you the story of a man who was forced to live.
I didn't. Well, if you're going to tell me that story, it's going to take a while for me to understand it, and you're going to have to repeat it multiple times until I've gained the story. So that would be quite a few years of servitude. I'm quite happy with that deal.
Your idiocy is not my problem. I told you that I would tell you the story. Whether or not you can take it in is your problem.
Not my problem. I am still so invested that it looks like I'm hanging off every single word
Yeah.
they say.
This is great.
So he goes, okay, in which case then, my last offer is 100,000 gold and a year of Payne's life.
Ha! You can have every year of my life.
Okay,
You
done.
have a life.
Oh, no.
There is no life left to give, you idiot. That's the point of the story.
Should I be worried at this point, or am I
Okay.
too young to understand?
So you find yourself outside the store with a sword and a rather strained-looking Payne.
Okay, I look up at Payne and I'm like, do you want a sword? You bargained for it.
I don't want that stupid piece of glowing metal.
Okay.
I want to burn down this store is what I want.
Actually, it hurts Payne's eyes to look at the sword.
Calprix hands you a box of matches
Oh no.
and then goes off to
And
find
walks off.
Polycus.
Fun.
Mhm.
Payne takes the matches and immediately tries to set the store on fire.
Okay, so with some skill, you try to set the store on
Wait a
fire.
minute, is Lani still in the store?
Yep.
Yeah.
And as you look up, you notice you're currently trying to set alight the city watch. The store has moved,
Not a watch house. A member of the watch.
and so while you're doing that, and he seems quite amused by your attempt to set him alight.
Whee!
So, Lani, you're still in the store.
Having watched this,
I was going to get something for myself. Am I precluded from going back in?
You can't see the entrance to the store.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to check. In which case, you do your thing. I'm going to go and deliver my sword to Tolkus.
You can go and look around the corner.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. I'll do that.
So look around the corner, see if you see a store yet.
Yes, there's a store just there.
Okay.
Of course, it was always around here.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go in?
You can.
Okay. I join Lani. I am a little bit confused, but I just accept this as the way things have been, and I make sure that wherever pain is, he can't see the sword because I don't want to cause him pain. And yes, I rock up beside Lani and wait my turn.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll go ahead. Lonnie wasn't actually looking for anything in particular, but is there a cloak of some kind?
You could get a cloak of billowing. I've got one of those. It makes me look cool.
I do like things that make me look cool.
It's the one I've got.
Okay, so we have this cloak. It's the coolest thing we have.
It is the coolest thing you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
It freezes you.
You're going to the desert, so
Yes.
this could be a good
Yeah,
thing.
close to keep you warm.
Could be something.
Yeah.
How cool does this make me?
It puts you above everyone else in coolness.
Are you frozen?
I would be careful about the wording.
That's what I mean. I'm being
Yeah.
very careful about the wording here. Well, we're going to icy regions though.
I'm really
into this.
going to enjoy when it turns out that this store is actually just really cool.
Oh yes, of course,
Yes.
Yes.
Glad you remember that.
Or a cloak of levitation looks higher than anyone else.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Actually, what would be bad, though, is a cloak of levitation that can't turn off. But that's the sort of thing I can see
Jeez, wouldn't
happening.
that be so cool? You walk around with a party and Lani's just floating above us everywhere. Lani.
Yeah, we now have one party member that's
That
actually
has
a
to be
target.
dragged around like a balloon.
That's fine. I'll hold the
The
string.
wind keeps
Yeah,
building
it
up
works.
underneath and it keeps you cool.
I'll give the string to eat.
Oh, no, that's right. Big paddles and flop your way through the air.
This cloak, about how much does it cost?
How much would you like to spend on it?
I would like to say
A lot or a little? It's got more oomph the more you spend.
5
5 gold. It doesn't have a lot of oomph for 5 gold.
No, it'll look
10
pretty.
10 gold. 10 gold, you won't even get a decent colour.
Decent color. How much for a decent color?
Decent colour's going to set you back at least a couple of thousand. But to be really cool, over 10,000 for really cool.
Jeez, why is everything in here so unaffordable?
Because it's a magic shop and they can charge what the hell they like.
Exactly.
Rare items start at about 12,000.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So
I'm
it's-
going to make a mental note to ask for normal
So it's
rare item.
not, So it's If you ask specifically for a common item or an uncommon item, yeah, you'll probably get that.
Yeah.
So
Remember also, hey, Mercury's giving you about 1,000 gold per level at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I do
Yeah,
I have some gold. That's not what I'm worried about.
I've got something like 10,
Yeah.
12,000 saved up.
Yeah, and those of us who were at the other thing also had a large bag of gems.
I'll
But
say okay. Well, it seems like
Yeah.
this cloak is very cool, but it's a little bit out of my price range. Is there something maybe around the 1,000 mark?
you don't want to spend a lot on a cloak, do you? It wouldn't be very cool.
That's okay. Any
Yeah.
type of cloak?
yeah, how cool can I get for $1,000?
Okay.
Cool enough for cats?
Yes.
I think that cat's gone to sleep now. You needs a little bit of attention.
Mm.
Yep.
I've got this hyena skin jacket,
That sounds pretty awesome.
It does.
and
You
happy
feel
happy
like-
for that to go for a measly 500 gold.
That doesn't actually sound too bad.
Does it turn her into a were hyena?
That's the thing.
That
May I ask what
should aim for a cackling good
the
time.
story
Yes,
behind
it
the
would.
previous owner?
He barked a lot.
Okay.
Terrible sense of humour.
For
Always
some
laugh.
reason, I can just imagine Lani putting it on going, "Ow, ow."
Was he more of a night
Well-
person?
It's not surprising that the cult of hyena barked.
Yeah.
Or the one that wore a pelt of a hyena bark.
Yes.
Let me think on that a little bit, and I'll. How about my friend here?
Okay. So yes, you're back up to the desk.
I'm asking if there's if they have any spices or
Yes, they do. They have this fantastic thing that they call the any spice pouch.
Okay.
It can have absolutely any spice in it. Not always what you're asking for, but it has any spice in it.
So you reach in and you grab and you get like a random spice.
Sure.
Is that how it works?
Oh no.
How much is it?
That one, I'm sure I can let it go for the 50 gold you're asking for the sword.
Yes, I will take the bag of spice, please. Allspice. My all spicy bag.
I have a feeling that we are getting ourselves so screwed.
That's
It's-
all I'm
yeah.
after.
That's the thing. First time I came in here, it actually wasn't all that bad.
But they were described a lot like this as well.
Yeah.
So I was after if they've got anything just small. Just I want to get something a little bit unique, like maybe a brooch or something like that for each of my friends in my party because they've been all super cool and I would like to give them something small like a little brooch or a ring or something cool, but you know. About 100 odd gold or so each, you know, common type item, but not cheap and nasty.
Okay, well, they've got a couple of things that you can give them.
Yep.
So that they have this glowing orb for 50 gold.
Okay, and what does the glowing orb just glow?
No, it you can either buy the one that tells you which way you're going, or the one that tells you what time of day it is.
I have that one.
Pardon?
I have that one.
You have the time of day one?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get the other one then.
Yeah.
How many party members have I got now? I've got
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
Or
4.
If you could make it, put a story around it,
5.
you can increase what it does.
So I think I need 5 if we count it correctly.
plus.
Oh yes, 6. Okay, so that's 1.
And then we have this mechanical amulet. He has no idea what it does. He's selling that for 50 gold. He doesn't know what it does, so he's selling it for 50.
I'll take that on 50 gold.
Yeah.
So I need 4 more things.
Okay,
Something
and
with a dragon theme would be cool. If there's anything like that.
okay, so something for dragon theme, you say?
Well, it just has to like be a dragon brooch or dragon ring. You know,
Well,
it
he's
doesn't
got
have to
this
be-
cloak that has dragon symbols all over it.
Dragon
Okay.
scale armor.
Yeah. I don't think I can afford that as a gift. How much is that?
It would also be
Selling that for 50 gold as well.
Okay, yep. So that's
Dragon
Is this dragon scale armor epically sourced?
No, it's
It's all
epic.
dragon theme.
No, it's dragon scale. It's epically sourced.
so
I think
for
you're wondering if they're actually made from real dragon scales.
Yeah, there is that too.
We have this talking doll.
talking doll,
Yeah,
Oh god, no.
I would say no on the talking
it's in the
doll.
shape of a dragon.
Can I see this talking doll?
Yep, they have this talking doll in the shape of a dragon.
And how big is it? That's big. What does it say?
Whatever you want it to.
So if I told it to say it loved me, it would just say it loved me?
Yep.
Okay. Does it do anything else?
Not that he knows of.
And it's that big?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. I want just little, easy to carry things. But thank you. I am sorely tempted to get it for myself, but
Yeah.
No reason you can't.
it's a little bit big, though. I've got to be careful about carrying too much stuff. I already carry a bunch of coffee. If it was smaller, I would probably go for it.
Well, I'm sure you can stuff it into your belt pouch, into your bag of holding.
Yeah, no, I prefer something,
So that's all he's got available at the moment in the cheap range.
Okay, so I've got 3, but I could always go other places and get small presents.
You can go buy them coffee beans. I'm sure they'll love it.
I might try and get them something a bit more personalised. Can I get them gift wrapped?
They do wrap them.
Okay, I can pay some extra gold for that. And I will take my gift wrap items and put them in my bag of holding, hope they don't disappear, and save them for a time when I've got all my things.
And then he goes back to Lani and see what Lani wanted.
I thank him. And
Did Lani want the fashionable cloak?
Or the jacket.
Yeah.
Or the the laughing jacket?
the laughing jacket.
I love it. That's pretty cool. I'll go with the fashionable.
Okay, so it seems to you know drain your bank accounts, but you get the fashionable jacket.
Yeah.
How much did it drain your bank accounts by?
All of it.
Well,
Basically.
she asked for a grand.
Oh,
Asked for one that was worth a grand.
yeah.
But I think this one, what did we say it ended up costing?
I ended up costing everything you had in there.
500.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I had like 10,000. So
Oh, did you just buy yourself a $10,000 cloak?
Yep.
yeah,
Oh, okay. To be cool. Is that the maybe
cool-
levitating cloak?
It's the
Maybe
fully cool
levitating
one.
cloak.
Okay. Ooh, wow. Yeah.
Okay, so did Payne want to do anything while he's in the shop? No, he's already out. He's trying to set things alight.
Back in like I did.
He's going to attempt to find the shop again.
He goes looking for the shop. Are you intending to buy something or burn it down?
I mean, both.
Okay, so you find the shop and have no problems getting in. Just that by the time you enter the shop, your matches have disappeared.
Do you want
The
water, diet, something? Hot chocolate? I can do that.
Thank you.
What would Payne like to buy?
good.
I'm sure they could sell you a necklace of fireballs.
Payne reconsiders and leaves.
Okay.
He does not burn the place to the ground, but also considers these. Oh, wait, hang on. He turns around and looks to Ariadne's character. You know, I get the feeling that you might benefit from a bag of holding.
She has one. I do have one, but at that point I make sure to reimburse Payne the 50 gold that he paid for the sword for me.
Yep.
All good.
I didn't pay for it, and I don't care either. But you should get another bag of holding. Seem to want to carry everything and think how much money
Can
you
you
can
have
carry.
more than one bag?
It's madness if you
You
don't
can,
take it.
yeah.
You can, you just can't.
You can't put them in
One
each
You
other.
can't put them in each other.
Oh, well, I don't object to getting a bag of holding if Payne thinks I should get one.
I don't know if I trust this person called Kane.
Wait, what kind of cloak did I get?
No, I don't know.
What was that?
What kind of cloak
Considering
did
you
I
told
You're not sure?
he told
So
us
fashionable
outright.
cloak.
It's a fashionable
He's
cloak.
evil.
It feels soft to the skin.
So he doesn't
First
need.
of all, you don't know that I'm evil. That's just what I told you about the character, which is rude.
No, you told us that in character. That you.
Actually, I didn't.
No, not sorry. You didn't specify that you're evil. But you did say that you were being controlled so that you wouldn't murder everybody.
So,
He did say that, yes.
So Payne wants me to get a bag of holding.
Okay.
I mean,
Can
it
you
just
trust
seems
the
like
guy who
it
wants
makes
to
sense
murder
when it
everybody?
carries so much stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, how often do you find a magic store? Especially one as annoying as this.
Every time I go to Garrican.
It's really hard to keep that voice up.
I quite understand. It's not the easiest.
Don't care. I'm committed.
Yep.
Next session. I can't talk.
Yeah.
what?
I had a character drop like
The
this.
fact
didn't
that
hook them.
Robert will now be voiceless tomorrow.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Do you do voices for all of your characters?
He does.
Oh my
You
god.
better do.
One of the critical role guys started off with a really weird accent. Within
And
like
he-
2 sessions, he
he just-
downgraded to something
So,
totally
you know
different.
that you
It's
don't play
pretty well
with me in the
stopped it,
Star
yeah.
Wars game? I got a droid that talks like this, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clone jokes galore.
Tomorrow night's character has a Russian accent because he's a Uyghur and Hungarian.
Oh my
Right.
god.
And
I love
Balance is
that
probably the
accent.
easiest of all of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's so good.
Okay, so yes, you managed to meet up. So apparently people have gifts for our person who didn't want to go in, except for everyone forgot to buy something for the Drachnomir.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Someone gave me a dragon-themed cloak,
There you go.
but I just haven't given it to him yet.
Yeah. They're giving it to the new Clan of the Dragons chief.
That's,
Sounds really suitable.
that's the
100%
only reason
natural
I asked for a
dragon.
dragon-themed item.
Harvested from wild dragon.
Yes. I'll come up to you.
But by the way,
I entirely understand your reaction to that shot.
I've got 3 of them. 6.
However,
I don't.
yeah. Well, yeah.
All I know is it gave me a headache just looking at it.
It gives me a headache shopping in there. So, yes. They
It's
got
awful.
a short
It's
sword
most
for you,
mages who try and sell something are just the worst.
Have I?
and it was
Evil even by my standards.
yes. It was on a more than good special. So here's a magic short sword, and I'm going to apologise if it goes badly.
And 2 seconds after he picks up that one, Calgrix jumps in and goes, "I got you your sword, just like I told you I would," and hands you a second sword.
Okay, question.
Yep.
How much did this one cost?
They gave me a gold to take it away. You're going to take that one, aren't you?
How much did this one cost?
It cost love. I bought it for you because.
It cost 50 gold and someone's soul.
No, I don't tell him that. No, I don't tell him that at all.
So
I'm like,
wait.
you ask for a sword, this is
What
a sword.
kind
it
of
costs
person asks the price of a gift?
Exactly.
I know, right? It's just rude.
Well,
it's
it's more than one.
okay.
Okay, can I make an inside check from the way he said?
Okay, I said what I did for a reason. It was a warning.
Yeah, so I'll make an inside check to see if I actually picked up that warning.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to make it obvious so you didn't actually have to check.
What's an extra 20?
Yeah.
So yes, you do pick up a warning on that one.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
So sort of.
Okay, as you touch the sword, you feel it burn your hand.
Oh.
Right. Burn is in hurt burn or?
Burn as in, you see your fingers are all singed from where you touched it.
I look at the sword. What does it come across as magically?
It comes across as radiant energy emanating from it. And more radiant energy than you've ever seen in a single item in your life, including artifacts.
Okay, I'm not
That's-
good and I'm not evil.
Oh.
Yeah, the dragon seems to hold it without burning herself.
I figured for you.
Balath pokes it.
Balath pokes it.
Balath? I don't know why Balath spotted you. He's probably in the wrong universe at that stage. However, Pain will poke it.
There you go.
Pain pokes the sword and he can feel himself inside the sword.
Oh.
Apparently your soul's powering it. or it's using your soul to power itself. One of the two.
Ah, gentlemen, I think I've made your decision. This is my sword now.
So is this the sword that we
This is a sword that Pain helped you buy.
Okay, alright. Well, as long as someone
Pain takes the sword and he waits to see if anyone tries to stop him.
No, it's fine.
No.
It burned my hand.
Yeah.
Was
Alright.
it my sword that burned his head?
Yes, it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're a wizard of some form, aren't you?
Yes.
Can
Some
you
form.
use the
I will have a look at this and see what I can work out before you pull it out of the scabbard. Yes.
It radiates no magic whatsoever.
I'm going to pull that into scabbard.
As you pull it out of the scabbard, you see the final word briefly appear on the blade. As you now have what you appear to be the most magnificent short sword you've ever seen in your life in your hand.
Oh, man.
Yes.
You got a boring illusion sword and I got the Horcrux. Ha ha!
I love it.
Cool.
Looks nice.
No, I'm not, it says.
Oh. I don't think I can take up an achievement slot.
I'm with you, Pain. Let's work out a way to burn that damn store down.
I like that store, it says.
Oh!
How many times have you been through this? How many times have you been
You
through it?
distract the mage and I'll burn it down.
It doesn't respond to you.
Okay.
I can hear it, I take it.
Everyone else can hear it talk to you.
Okay.
It's not quiet.
So wait, we can hear it.
You can hear it, but it doesn't respond to other people. Yes?
Pain touches. We touch swords. Pain touches his sword to the doggy dog.
Okay, Pain feels more pain than he's ever felt in his life.
Seriously?
Pain runs around on the ground for about half an hour.
On the bright side, you might get a few evil thoughts hit now.
Is this the sword Calcrick's sword?
Yes. Yeah, the sword Calcrick's brought touch to the sword Llewell bought.
Sorry, wait a minute. The sword that I bought ended up being run by Pain's soul.
Yes.
And the sword that Paul was paid to take causes Pain so much pain he falls over.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Alright. I suppose we can work together.
I'm sure we can, it says.
Okay, do you speak at a lower volume at all? Can you speak to
Of course I can, it says with a really loud, deep voice.
Right. So,
It even makes the windows around you vibrate.
so hard of understanding. Fine.
Right. So,
Glad you hear it, it says.
you have telepathic or anything like that?
Don't be stupid, it says. Oh, but you're a thief. Can't help it, it says.
I'm not a thief, I'm a gambler.
What's the difference, it says?
Remind me when we get rid of that thing we're looking for to attach this to it.
And you hear, I don't think so.
Pull out my little book. Put the book away.
So,
I did apologise.
for Llewell's perspective, you think this was the doorstop that had been mentioned in previous investigations of the store?
Because no one wanted to touch it
Yeah.
or buy it.
Well, doesn't know
I
those got his
did.
name in my little book.
I did apologise.
But the doorstop is now happy it's no longer holding doors open.
Yes, loudly so.
It's alright.
That's right.
It's all good.
So you literally have a back-talking sword.
Hopefully it'll be more useful than just annoying.
Well, it might be the artifact backbiter.
It's actually a sword of answering, which is a legendary item normally. But because it's intelligent, it is considered a minor artifact.
Yeah.
Try tuning to it. To try and get
But there's no trying to attune to it. It doesn't count as one of your attunements, but it has already attuned to you.
Yeah.
You pulled it out of this game.
Yeah, artifacts do that. That's why I've got multiple artifacts and I've still got 4
you
attunements.
know what I did wrong? I should use sleight of hand to make Llewell draw it as I took it from his hand.
There you go.
That might have worked.
This
It
should
might
be
have
what
worked.
you did.
I should have forced
And for
it.
Dave's perspective, he's currently holding a Holy Avenger.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that
Yes.
sounds.
I thought that was what it was.
What do you
feel
think
like-
Holy Avenger just now?
It is a paladin's.
What it is.
Oh, okay.
So it's a paladin's holy sword, the pinnacle of weaponry for fighting.
Yes,
Does this mean
it's a
that-
paladin endgame sword.
Does this mean though that when we get to the place that only respects paladins, they may mistake Tolicus for a paladin?
Well, Tolicus doesn't have it.
Tolicus. Pain.
Oh, Pain. Oh, well, in that case, they may mistake Pain for a paladin. I really love.
That's
that
going to be
iteration.
amusing, given the way Pain talks.
They will either mistake him as a paladin or they'll question why he has a paladin sword.
Or all the paladins of the city will be quested to get that sword.
Yes.
Oh! So Pain's in for a bit of pain.
Story of his life. On life.
So he might find the next mini levels fighting off paladins wanting the sword.
Something tells me this may not be an issue.
Okay, so yes, you managed to pick up stuff from the ice store. and you're able to rapidly get back to Redrian's Inn.
Mm-hmm.
One of you with lots of conversation that he doesn't want. Every time he talks and says something, it answers.
Mm-hmm.
Not always in a polite way.
Is this Tollicus's
Yeah.
holy event?
Yeah.
Plain speaking.
Does it have a name
Sword
yet?
answering.
Sword of answering.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's going to
does
answer
it
every
talk
time
to
it says.
anyone?
No, it only talks to the person who it belongs to.
Aw,
But you
how
can all
pricks
hear
was
it.
she got that sword?
You can hear it.
But will it talk in response to me?
No.
Oh, well then,
Yeah.
it's not as fun to play with.
But the problem is it'll answer me for, no matter who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
I start asking you lots of questions.
I'm not talking.
Yes, I can definitely see you trying that.
So yes, you make it back
I
to
think I'm like 7 or 8.
the Rivet Inn without any
You're a
issues.
kid. Yes.
Okay.
And so yes, that is. So you did manage to get a bargain of an item.
Yeah.
Yeah, they paid you 1 gold to get a holy
All
event.
I
Oh no,
wanted
50 gold
was
for a holy event.
all I wanted was a basic sword to bypass things like ghosts and
You knew
Yeah.
this was going to go wrong from the moment you said you needed a sword though, right? Yeah.
And now you've got a sword that you need. You
Yeah.
You don't feel complete without it.
Does that mean I can't use my daggers or
Oh, no, you
anything?
can use other things. You just can't give the sword up.
There's not going to be like
What
a
it does mean,
Chocobo
though,
Artemis
is that
type
you can still do
rah-rah
thievery
happening here.
as long as you don't
Definitely.
say anything.
Which
This-
is fine, because
Yeah, because you don't anyway.
Because it's a back-talking sword, it will complain if he uses anything else.
Ah.
Yeah.
also I use one of my throwing knives. It'll,
No,
So
there,
why
there
did
are
you
other
use that?
weapons that will force you to use that.
Some weapons are, if you go to even swing a fist at someone, it's so much as a slap, the weapon appears in your hand and you strike with it.
Yes. Yeah. Some of the cursed swords do that. You
Okay.
cannot use anything
Now
else.
you understand why my 9th level archer still has a non-magical
Maybe I can
bow.
get the monk
Yeah.
with a vow of silence.
Sorry, what about the vow of silence?
Become a monk.
Oh,
Well, the thing is, if he's going out and doing sneaky stuff, he's not going to be talking anyway. So
but it's Tollicus's sword that's answering, not
I know.
Payne's.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yes,
What if the sword just starts asking him questions while he's stealthing?
Yeah.
Are you sure you're stealthing properly?
I don't know,
Yes.
maybe the sword wants him to live, so maybe it doesn't. So.
Keep the sword in a bag of holding while you're doing stuff.
Look, that's cool. If the
Can you
sword
do
wants
that?
to get
Yeah.
you killed.
Not
then-
artifacts.
Oh, that's right. Not artifact.
I was gonna say, it sounds pretty
Legendaries you can, artifacts you can't,
Well-
unless you've been practicing, which I have with mine.
Or unless you have a
Get to a point where
alien
Tolkien
creature.
volunteers to carry the sphere of destruction into the cart.
Yeah.
Oh no, they'll go at the same time.
Wouldn't be the first person to suggest such. Okay, so yes, you've met up at the Rivet Inn after having your various drinking and feeling happy that you didn't get yourself a magic bow that is very angry with you. We did have someone buy a crossbow.
Uh-huh.
It was angry.
It was very
bow.
cross.
Yep.
What? That wasn't said more like Discworld.
Because sometimes magic people who do enchantments
Well-
are wacko.
I guess as
and
I
then-
get to the
Also-
river, I'll put on my.
Guys, I just want to say, George, please never join a game with Mark because I can't tell your voices apart. It is really. Every time George talks, I keep thinking it's Mark, and it's really confusing.
George? Jeff?
Jeff.
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 Yep.
My bad. I have no idea why I called you George.
No, that's okay. I
But
just was trying to
But I
figure
can
out
certainly
if I
hear
got
Mark.
someone's name.
Yes, it's the reduction in quality you get through get.
He's just trying to get
Skype.
to the thing and tell you what you picked up.
And and
Already had it open. That was good.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so you got yourself a cloak of the bat.
Oh,
Cool.
While you're wearing it, you have advantage on perception checks relating to sound.
and it turns into bat wings.
Once you're attuned to it, in areas of dim light or darkness, you can fly,
Okay, that's cool.
as long as you grip the edges.
Yeah, you've got to hold it out like bat
yeah.
wings.
So if you forget and try to pull a weapon, you just
Yeah, what it does mean is you can kick people.
Yeah, but what you can do is ask Princess Jasmine if she trusts you. Take her hand and sing Whole New World.
No, you can't.
And another bonus you also get is once per day you can turn yourself into a bat.
Yep.
Without being a vampire. This is great.
Without being a vampire. I'm sure that part sucks, but hey. And as you're human, you can also use your perception bonus in for sight in dim or darkness.
Sweet.
If you're a Atruaghin, you'd also get other bonuses.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. To be fair, if you demonstrated that ability in front of a Castallan, they'll get the wooden skate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most likely.
You could turn into a bat, therefore you are blah. Yes.
Am I justice? Am I the knight? Is what I'm asking here.
Well, you look very cool in it.
That's exactly what I asked for, so I like this.
You also notice that you don't feel heat.
See? Handy. It is cool.
As the only one with true guttural voice, I'm Batman.
Thank you. As I do have a female voice, I'm not able to do that. So.
I'm sure you can do just as a scary one.
It
sure.
can be done. Have you ever listened to very much metal music?
Yeah, I listen to it.
There are women who growl.
Yeah, I can't do it.
So yes, you've managed to pick up quite a few things. So what you've got is the sort of answering back talker, Holy Avenger, Cloak of the Bat, the Heward Spice Pouch, the Clockwork Amulet, an Orb of Direction, and a Cloak of Many Fashions, which I believe is what was going to be given to Drachnamir. So quite a few different useful items, just not described that way.
Yes.
We'll see. We'll see how the sword works. But it's a bit unfortunate
So
for
just so you know,
himself.
it is a +3 sword. That deals an extra 3 dice of damage when you hit. And
So
as a
it's useful.
reaction, you can hit someone who's hit you. That's the base powers of a sword of answering.
Okay. But it's an annoying talky thing.
It is an annoying talky thing.
Hopefully it's just not going to be talking when I'm trying to stealth.
You don't know yet unless you whisper.
Just don't talk to it.
You might say, "I am vengeance," and he goes, "No, you're not. You're a very naughty boy."
But also remember that extra 3 dice of damage is on top of your skill.
On top of any weapon mastery, yes.
Plus the body sneak attack.
Plus
Plus your sneak attack, yes.
Oh yes. Get some weapon mastery on top of that thing, and that thing will do
So just imagine
good damage.
So, like, with that, you'd be more powerful than me with 4 attacks.
No, you can't sneak attack once around.
You can only
Yeah.
sneak attack once per round.
But he's still going to be significantly
That's
powerful
one
for the other
change they
attacks.
made in this edition compared to previous editions, because some of the combat rogues got seriously stupid in previous editions.
Yeah.
In 3 and 3.5,
It was where
Pathfinder.
Where
4th
people
went for
mixed
1.
different classes so you could get multiple attacks.
Yeah.
But they nerfed it in 5th edition by you have to get to a certain level in each class to get the extra
order to
attacks
those,
And they
instead
also
of each
limited-
getting multi-attacks.
And they also limited sneak attack to only working on weapons, either ranged
Yeah.
weapons or finesse weapons.
Yeah. They all in 4th edition they did it by going. It only works on the first attack in the round,
Yeah.
To also get around
and
the
it's
fact
actually hard to
where
get
they
multiple
had
attacks in 4th edition.
Raging barbarians with sneak attack, and
Yeah.
because you can't use
Although-
your rage on a finesse weapon.
No. Although I do like what one guy did in Living Gravehawk, very, very short, who went, he had a weedy little character with a big battle axe, a 2-handed axe, said, "I'm a barbarian," and he would charge into combat. He would charge in and wait for someone else to actually engage first. And what he was doing was, he was actually doing lots of damage, because he was a rogue doing sneak attacks by flanking and just hitting them in exactly the right place with a whacking great 2-handed axe.
Works.
Yeah.
So we're at the Knights Ribbon,
Yep.
and are we all at the portal?
You're able to use the portal and travel to Ylaruam.
Yay!
As you all step through, All of you but one feel as if you've just stepped into a furnace.
She's going,
Me.
I'm fine.
It's like, what are you guys talking about? Why are you
You can see the water dripping off everyone else's faces.
Yes.
Dracnima, who had arranged the appropriate camels and other storage bits and pieces and
Yep.
guard for desert travel. He was at
Linen
least expecting the heat.
He was expecting the heat, so he's not too worried about it because, well, hey, you have heard of just how hot this place is. It's not climate hot; it's magically hot. The entire region has had its temperature increased beyond that which most plant life can survive.
Oh.
So the regions that have plant life have it irrigated and looked after by the locals.
Because it's the only way to get anything to grow.
Yes,
Yeah.
and everything beyond that, including the desert itself, is probably about 10 degrees hotter than it should. And it is the curse of the gods that made it so.
So, it's Arizona now with global warming. Gotcha.
Well, it's Arizona where someone's just dialed the heat up.
It's Central Australia.
Central Australia.
Yes.
But you don't have the normal
As
growth.
somebody who has literally lived in the desert, it's probably worse.
Oh, it is going to be worse.
Because
If
it's not a standard desert.
If it's 10 degrees hotter than a normal desert, yet nothing's going to live here.
Yep.
This is hotter than normal life can actually handle.
Most stuff is underground that lives.
Yeah, it has to be.
And you basically see desolation outside the
We'd
cities.
probably be travelling at night or something.
Yeah.
Is it too cold at night?
At night, the whole temperature just evaporates and the ground itself gets icy.
That's desert. There's nothing to hold it in.
Yeah, no, this is going even further.
Magic.
Yeah, it's magic in both directions.
There is.
It's a cursed land. And cursed lands remain cursed long after the curse was made. Someone has to break the curse.
Yes.
Let's do that while we're here.
Hey, Martin.
Yep. Yes, David? I would say you're breaking in and out as you're trying to explain something wonderful to me right now.
It is the most brilliant and bestest idea.
But very quiet.
Yep.
Must be very.
So I believe you've just gone right out of range as you're explaining something wonderful.
So, have we departed yet?
We are
Yeah, you are in Ylaruam.
We are, and it's 10 degrees hotter.
Well, it's hotter than any of you would have expected.
Okay.
Calcritz has been here before and understands the heat,
Yeah. Okay.
but everyone else was a bit taken aback by it shouldn't be this hot.
I'm not
No,
going
fire
to,
aspect
but I
people are
really
fine,
want to
pretty
say.
Fire aspect people here are basically thrown out of the country.
Yeah.
Because it's their fault.
It's their fault.
Oh,
Or is seen as their fault.
Oh, that's
Because it's
a
just
fire
too
risk.
hot.
No, the gods
No?
here have decreed that the fire
Oh, it's the
aspect people are
gods.
vilified.
I was going to say, I hope it's funny.
So
and I'm
everything's
not
the
gonna
god's fault.
Follow through, but if it wasn't Waffle, I'd expect most gnomes to be rocking a leather vest right now.
Yeah.
But not Waffle. He's got more taste.
Yeah, he's got the leather vest and the leather pants.
No. Waffle does not go into leather.
Okay, he's got the cotton vest and the cotton pants.
He's sensibly dressed for the desert.
And so yes, you find yourself in a bustling city with more people than you expect in a desert like this. But you see that their wells do not go into the ground. They're just shallow little wells. But the water is prayed for on every morning to the gods of water.
Yeah.
One of them being Al-Qadim,
Okay.
who became a god less than 10 years ago, they say.
We're only moving through here onto the coal place, right? But I gather we have to find lodgings and things?
You do not.
No? Okay,
You can
it's
basically,
straight on?
you had Dracnumir arrange for camels
Yep.
and gear to allow you to just get on the road and take off.
So we're heading straight out.
And I was just giving you a sort of feel of the area.
Yeah, okay.
You can hear lots of singing in a language most of you haven't heard before.
Is it prayerful type singing? Is it joyous? Is
It seems joyous.
Yep. There's David.
Not back.
I just got a message from him about he'd like to use his wand of remove curses on the desert just in case.
Okay. I'd like to see how that turned out.
What's the radius of the wand?
Well, it's normally you have to pick an effect, but I'm not sure a mortal spell can take out a god spell.
No.
It could be very interesting though, as he goes around doing 10 centimeters of the desert at a time. Because it works,
We're trying to do
right?
this whole thing.
So that's why he's got to do it.
How many charges does it have?
Not many normally. It's normally once per day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
Move 10 inches, stop, rest.
Camp, rest. Yeah.
No, it's you do the 10 inches, then you camp in those 10 inches.
Comfortable.
Stand on one leg.
That could turn out very interesting.
Be okay if you're a pixie.
And you see that
Yes.
there are a lot of people with scimitars, with bladed polearms, with arrows that look very vicious. And for you, this is probably amongst some of your nightmarish sort of lands, as these guys and the Thiatans share a border.
Oh.
And it's not a pleasant border.
No.
The Thiatans once colonized this place, like about everywhere else of the known world.
Yeah.
But Al-Qadim, the god, is the one who united the people and kicked the Thiatans' butt out of the nation.
I'm going to wear coverings.
And they are...
You're wearing coverings because...
They are an amalgamation of different people who
Yeah.
have stood up against the Thiatan might and actually pushed them out of their country. This is the last country to do so.
I'm very Thiatan looking, so even though I'm not Thiatan per se, as a nationalist.
And amusingly enough, not looking like the normal Nuari, you look like the people they fought. Whereas if you look like the Nuari specifically, you'd probably be welcome in here as a sea person.
Oh wow, that would be...
So by the choice of your appearance, you've chosen their hated enemy as your appearance.
I didn't know I was coming here.
I know. That was why I was saying the appearances make a big difference.
Yeah, I know.
So
100%.
you do see Nuari-looking people walking the streets because this is an area that venerates the ocean and the water.
Right.
That's all
Well, to be fair, you probably don't necessarily see what a lot of people look like.
In the city itself, they do have a cooler temperatures than the outside desert.
It's cooler, and I suppose for them, there's locals. It's just a balmy spring afternoon.
And all the streets have coverings, so you don't have direct sun on you in most places, which is why it does feel cooler. Everything is filtered light.
Okay.
And you have the smell of coffee and honey, as well as baked goods passing through the city.
Nice.
Can I pick up a few baked goods for food?
You can. They have very much fruit pies as their style of things in the morning. And the coffee is thick enough you could stand your spoon up in
I've
it.
already got beans from here, though, haven't I?
You have gotten beans from the outer lying cities. This is the center of the nation, and you see more coffee places than you've ever seen anywhere in your life. They've got probably about 20 or 30 streets, main streets in the city.
All of them, but
What I was trying to get at is that each street has its own unique coffee house. And as you look everywhere, you see brands you've never even dreamt of.
I
Are the
get
jasmines going?
I get Grindel Waffle to note down all of the different stores so that we can get in contact with them. But if we've got time, I might stop at a couple of them and grab some coffees. But I don't want to hold people up for too long.
So every 5 steps, coffee.
Well, I think at this point, Grindel Waffle might get down and go running around. And
Though you also notice that most of the locals give way whenever they notice the dragon.
yeah.
They don't interact with the dragon, they don't disrespect the dragon, but they do bow in the dragon's presence and let the dragon pass.
I give them due respect in return. Like, oh,
Give him a nod.
You don't know
Give them
why
a
they
nod.
you don't know why they do this. You've just
but just like any 7 or 8 year old child who's been bowed out, I would bow respectfully back. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know why, but I feel important.
Maybe they just think dragons are the equivalent of paladins around here.
I'm like, they're bowing, I'm going to bow in return.
okay. So I'll give your character an insight roll.
I'm actually really glad that I've got a very large swoopy hat, which I will now wear.
I can get your sets handy.
Because I got an 8. And you said, was that insight or perception?
Insight.
Because I think I'm like a +8, but I might be a +5, and I imagine that's going to be quite a difference. Because I couldn't get the printer to...
Where are we? Here we are. Okay, so you have an insight of +7.
Oh, okay, there you go. So that would be 15.
15. Okay.
I
Looking
won't
at
use a re-roll, but I kind of wish I had.
looking at the people there,
Yeah,
you
I-
believe that they probably think you come from one of the dragon cities in the desert.
Okay, alright.
A dragon showing up here is such an event that you'll probably be invited to the Sultan's palace.
Okay.
Do we want to take up that invitation if it comes?
We got a place to go.
Yeah.
We have a little ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
I in that case, I won't pause very often. I'll actually...
You also realise it might be considered an insult from the Dragon Nation
that's-
if you don't show up.
So there's that too.
But it's your choice.
So am I aware of that? Are they aware of me?
Well, the fact that people have started bowing at you means that the...
We just get out of town really fast then, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I
With
have
the
a feeling
shield-
from what Martin's just said, though, that if I don't at least make a brief appearance, it could cause trouble for us later.
It's the equivalent of a political person has just shown up in a city, become known, and then left before actually speaking to someone of importance.
Yes, it is something I would advise.
She
Yes.
is the equivalent of a diplomat of the dragons.
And yeah,
Can I walk onto
and I'm a
the
noble.
dragon?
Yeah.
I will ask Clue if he'll accompany me. Everyone else can come too if they like, but particularly Clue
I
because
will.
he talks so
Do we
well,
have
and I'll
Dragon
stand
with us
up on
at the
my.
moment?
You do have Drezzel with you, except he's wrapped up in a cloak at the moment. He doesn't like being known by these people.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you don't all have to come, but if Clue is happy to come, I will. Hopefully, he'll hold my tail like hand holding without hand holding. Because
I will-
I find it a bit intimidating.
I
We are
will.
on a timeline here to avoid destruction of the city.
Yes, well, that's why I don't want to dishonor anyone, but at the same time, I feel.
Well, I suppose
You prefer to destroy a city or allow a city to be destroyed?
Well, I'm guessing if I can spend just half an hour with them and explain to them that I'm on a quest and that I'm very honoured to be here, but I really need to go. Because, being an honoured dragon, I have
These are
things
the
that I
type
need
of
to
people
do.
to allow you a half-hour visit.
Well, look, I'm aware of all these things, but what do you think might happen if I walk through without talking to them at all?
what's the
Well,
social
if
etiquette?
we've moved
That's what I'm
on,
for.
it's a problem when we come back.
We need to say hi just to be polite.
Well, yeah, so...
And particularly those of us who are perceived nobility, actual nobility, or the chiefs of, say, clan heads, or anything equivalent, should actually go and say hi to the local ruler because it's the polite thing to do.
Yeah, I get
What
what
if I
Dracula is
insist on
saying. We don't
feast?
really have time to be polite.
Then
We
eat what you want to.
Can
can
I-
join them for a dinner.
Yes,
yeah, I was going to say,
we may end up doing that.
are
but
we
yeah.
going to have to stay the night here at all anyway?
Not necessarily, but
Okay.
it's up to you what you do.
And I gather, what is the time clock on this? Is it...
You do not know.
Okay, alright.
That's the thing. Rodrigan doesn't know. He says he
That's
doesn't know
our
what the time.
problem.
Yeah.
We don't have a firm
Yeah.
timeline.
So no one official
Yeah.
has approached me?
Not yet, but this is what I gave you when the people started bowing towards you.
with the insight.
It trigged the knowledge.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just,
So yes, we're going to have to go. We can.
Can I just have like
Sorry, carry on. No.
half a minute just
No,
to
sorry.
consider?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I've got fairly good diplomacy and charm, so I'm going to try and just say, I really don't want to offend you, but I can't stay. And I would be privileged if you would help me.
So you'd like
get
to
on
do
my
that at
way.
the Sultan?
Sorry?
You'd like to go to the Sultan to say that?
Well, is there an official that I
Not
can-
yet.
Not yet, okay.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, you've just seen people start bowing and you realise what that means.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the insight roll.
So
Can I do any other kind of check on whether or not I can tell if I nick off now, could it be just like a rumour of a dragon coming through and I might get away with it? Or can I is...
Okay,
I don't know
so
if there's a roll
there's a
for-
+7 roll for culture on that one using wisdom.
So use culture and
Yep.
wisdom? Okay. Can I re-roll?
You can re-roll that. I do have a few.
Into jail you go. Yeah, crap. Alright, I know nothing, so
10.
I'm
10.
going to ask the party for advice.
The other factor that Celtics may consider, and may or may not consider depending on, as an 8-year-old dragon, does she consider herself an ambassador?
No,
a
because
dragon
I'm a
nation.
child.
But
But I
Yes.
also am aware of the consequences from my experiences with my past parties. That if you walk past these guys, sometimes they can make your job a lot worse. And I'm kind of trying to find a middle ground where I can do as Clue was advising, but also I absolutely agree with Drachnima. I don't want to be here for too long.
but
No, I'm just saying the fact that whilst the populace and the rulers might consider any dragon coming into town a representative of the dragon nations and the hidden cities, and Celtics may recognise that that's what they believe.
it's how people are reacting is
what Celtics believes of herself.
no, it's how people are reacting is what's important right now. Whether she believes it's valid or not doesn't matter. It's what they think, and that's how she's reacting.
And Calcrix does have a history here where if she's ignored these people, it's actually caused a lot of problems for her party, and so it is actually being her experience that if she just nips it in the bud now, tells them, look, she's honoured, she has no idea why she's been honoured, but she has a life or death quest that she's needing to pursue, and can they assist her in pursuing that by helping her get on her way as fast as possible? That might actually be better than them going, the fucking dragon didn't stop.
Yeah, and that's
Lonnie
insulted me.
will point out, when she's been in different harbors and stuff, there's been a captain nearby, then she'll go get a drink with them and then be on her way. Could something along those lines
That's
be
what
I'm trying to figure
maybe
out.
like a morning tea?
Well,
Yeah.
yes, well,
What
that's
do you know
the
of
thing.
the culture
It's going to
here?
be easy enough to.
What you
avoid
know of the culture
feast.
here? They're barbarians who drink tea.
Yes.
It's a drink tea.
Yeah. They're not.
Anybody know specifically whether we can just pop in to say, "Hi, Sultan," to have a cup of tea
Well,
and bugger
that's
off?
basically
Yeah,
what
well,
I was just talking about. I can get around us having to say, stay the night or have a feast.
Yeah, that's what
But it's going to be, hi, here's something to slake your thirst while we're on the road, but we have a time
Are you
limit.
sure that is going to be acceptable here in
Luell has the
I-
contacts to do so.
And
Yeah,
good enough to do
and
this.
that's precisely why I went straight to Clue.
Yes,
So-
it's what I'm for.
Luell can do it without insult,
Yeah.
whereas walking out on a people who value honour
So-
above everything else.
Yes, if they value honour, you've got to do the right thing.
But I would suggest not watching what our quest is.
But no, of course not.
Provided everyone is happy with this, I am going to take just Clue.
But I'm not going to say it that
And
way.
we are going to talk to whoever it needs to be and ask for a brief meeting with the Sultan.
Yes.
Suppose the rest
You
of us
guys
can
can
And
get
then
our mounts and
The
everything, get ready to
instructions
go.
to
Get-
the rest
get
of you
extra
will
water.
be, if we get held up for some reason, we will catch up to you.
Yes.
Because at least that way, 90% of the party is on its way. I understand that Claw might be a major component in helping us solve our quest.
But I
At
can
this
catch up.
stage, you know, if I don't like splitting the party, but this might mean that we don't all get caught up into it. There won't be a major dinner.
How long do you want us to wait before we leave?
Drazzle suggests wait outside of town.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Drazzle not welcome in town.
yeah, and I'm happy
Okay.
with that.
Yeah.
That's fine. But how long till do you want us to give you before?
Give us a couple of hours.
Drazzle not stop.
Look,
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay, no, we'll catch up.
Yeah,
just
yeah. My suggestion is
just
we'll
don't
catch up.
don't travel at full speed for a couple of hours.
Yeah, try
We'll
not
we'll
to be
catch up.
your
Does
best.
allow us not to go at the best speed possible?
Drazzle happy to dawdle.
Yeah.
Drazzle not stay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Well, that's all right.
I'm. That's my proposal. Is
Well,
that,
the other thing is we can travel faster than pack beasts.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're
I
going to be
can
faster.
fly
Yeah,
and-
but we're going to be faster than
Yeah.
anyway.
You don't have a whistle, but you've got a means of fast movement.
I actually do have something that we got a little while ago, a broom of flying.
Yeah. Okay. So
So you
we
can keep up with the
fly
dragon.
and
I
catch
can keep up with the dragon.
Okay, so yes,
if everyone's happy with that, I will part ways with.
Yep. We can. Yeah, I've got the means that both of us can catch
It
up.
helps us with travel. I always know which way north is.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Okay.
Does that help, Drachnema?
It should
I'm
do.
all good.
Okay, so yes, you start heading out to the north of the city to take the highway out. As you do so, the guards are looking over you carefully.
I'm probably wrapped up as Drazzle.
Drazzle doesn't appear to be amongst you as you leave.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ways
and means.
Well, he caused a stir last time he was here.
Yeah, that's the thing. Either people want to take him out of town on a rail, or they love him.
He was here before it was cursed.
Right. Associations.
So, as you make it out of town, they do have a look over you. So some people do stare at our Thiatin rather closely. But considering
I disguise check to like I am trying to conceal my features.
considering you're not wearing the uniform of them, they see a lot of Thiatins come through here, and Thiatins are spread throughout all the region, and you're not dressed as a legionnaire.
So you're not exceptional enough to worry about.
You're not carrying everything a Thiatin carries.
So glad I chose the rogue out of one of my fighters.
And Lani makes it out with comments on that must be Lani the Undying.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you sign any autographs?
No. Probably,
And
probably
you
just
hear,
rumors
you hear
more than
that I heard she took out a giant with one blow.
Yeah, she did.
7 with one blow, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh, very nice. Very nice.
And one of them recognizes the shaman of the clans. They just don't know what his name is.
Because his new name is too recent.
That's really good.
So you're no. So now he's the shaman with capital letters on both words.
Yes.
But because the shaman of the clans is traveling with some silly Thiatin, the Thiatin must be okay. You do hear the association with your party members meant they weren't going to hassle you and rob you of everything on your way out.
It's nice to be.
I don't know. I have a feeling he wouldn't mind being robbed of a certain sword.
Well,
I feel like the sword would have some opinions
I think
about
a
it.
certain sword would actually force me to get killed rather than give him up.
Yeah.
Depends on whether or not the sword the person who stole him was worthy of him.
yeah. Actually, if it's present, if its powers in 5th Ed are anything like what they were in 3.5, you're not going to get away with not stabbing people.
So yes, you do make it out onto the desert itself, feeling the heat increase tenfold. Going from what was just hot to really, really unpleasant.
Yeah.
And
Walking through an oven.
not long after walking out there, you come across Drazzle just waiting for you with his cart. You don't know how he got past you.
It's like, Jazzle, I see you here.
He nods, saying, "Yeah, Drazzle not like City. City makes him use magic.
That's alright, Drazzle. I'm gonna pat him back and just hang out with him.
They not let Drazzle leave last time he was here.
Oh.
He's not gone back since then. Till today.
Yeah, I absolutely get that.
Yeah. Alright. So you two are heading to...
I was gonna say, I'm hoping Martin's like, yeah, you did your thing and you move on. But I don't know.
So as you approach the Sultan's Palace, one of the most majestic places in the city itself.
Of course.
Plenty of palm trees, lots of water, features around it.
I will reassure you, we're going to be fine. I'll handle the talking, unless if you're asked a direct question, just answer honestly.
Yep.
Don't answer completely because we can't be telling them what our mission is.
No, I do get that. I am able to be discreet.
I was just I was just clarifying, and I'll do the apologies we can't hang around speech.
And you get a squad of guys in sashes and robes with glowing scimitars out and approaching you. And they bow in your direction and gesture for you to follow them.
Okay.
Yep. Bow back and follow them in.
You're still holding my tail, right? Cool.
Okay.
I'm good.
So you find yourself brought into a room with a familiar-looking dragonborn sitting at the table behind a counter.
Is it familiar enough that I run up and hug said dragonborn? I run up and hug dragonborn.
Like I said, they didn't let him leave.
Who is it?
Drazzle.
It is Drazzle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
Yep.
Hello, Drazzle.
He looks up and opens a book and goes, Luell, you must be Luell.
Yes.
I have met you previously.
Yes. And again later.
He pauses. Looks further in the book. Yes, later as well.
But here and now, let's do what we need to do.
Saying here, he pulls out a form, puts it in front of you.
I read the form.
It says, unfortunately, due to conflict of interest, I'm unable to make a presentation today, but I'll endeavour to come back at a time of more convenience and spend an appropriate amount of apology and time with the Sultan.
Is he supposed to sign or is it me?
Well, it can be both of
We'll
you can
put
sign
both of them on it. Both of us on it, because we're both apologising.
I paw print the page.
And I'll write her name underneath, and I'll sign my name.
And I make a face when I try and lick the ink off.
I was about to say not to do that.
Oh,
You
Do
can
I have a blue tongue?
Yep, you do have a blue tongue.
Prestidigitation, clean the paw and the tongue.
Thank you.
Which meant you didn't have to go, slap, thank you, and go, well, sorry. You knew that was coming.
Yes, she was going to pat me on the leg at some point too.
I asked Drazzle if he has any advice for us in our current adventures.
He looks back at the book, goes down, and says, don't turn left.
Don't turn left. Okay. I give him a bag of coffee and chocolate.
He sighs.
Doesn't want coffee and chocolate?
No, it's been a while since he's been given a gift.
Oh, well, I give him more chocolate.
He thanks you.
Wait a minute.
We can see.
Can I give him the amulet of steam-powered something?
He thanks you.
I'll need to cross it off my list. Because he hasn't been gifted in ages, so I figure if he doesn't know what it is, it'll entertain him for a while. And hopefully not send him to hell. But he'll write it in his book if he does, and I'll find out that later. Alright, is that... Like, I'd love to spend hours with Drazzle, but I presume we
Yes.
can't, so...
Well, the whole thing with this is
Yeah.
we get to leave without having to talk to anyone. So, yes.
I'm sad.
Yes. Thank you for expediting this. And yes, we will spend time when we come back. And I'll see about
He
getting
gives you
sent
a form of leave from the Office of the Sultan.
Thank you.
It allows you to go through any checkpoint in Ylaruam.
As
that is going
always,
to be
Drazzle,
distinctly
you
useful.
are awesome.
Yes.
if not,
Well-
if a little terrifying, but still.
Yes. We'll have to.
He says, "Nice to have met you for the first time."
We will have to organise to.
I've been backwards and forwards.
Yes. I'll have to organise to get you sent some more coffee too.
Oh,
And
Brenda
other
Waffle
things.
will have a note to
Oh,
put
yeah.
permanent sort of,
Yeah. Deliveries.
regular delivery of both chocolate and coffee.
And then after about a couple of hours, you catch up with the party
Yep.
and find Drazzle's with the party as well.
Yep. And just because I'm not quite sure when he's last given him a present, I give him some chocolate.
He chuckles.
Yeah.
And you see he's wearing the amulet you gave him.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Which
Did
he
you
wasn't.
ever find out what it did?
He nodded.
Okay. Can I know what it did?
Helped him get away.
That was really good.
Aww. That is.
That's why they don't like him.
See, I would argue to Dracmir that there was a really good reason to stop and see the Sultan.
You get a grin from Drazzle.
Okay. Well, yeah, but we didn't know beforehand. But it was still something we needed to do.
Yeah.
Travellings.
Shall we head on our
So
way?
yes, as you travel, you do realise that it's not as hard as you're expecting.
Okay.
Until you get about 30 feet from the car, that is.
The cart.
The cart. His
Yeah.
cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Drazzle's not with us?
No, he's with
Oh,
you.
he's with us.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
cart.
But those of you that ride on ahead or go and scout, it goes from this is hot to I'm feeling my feet burn through my boots.
I
I
asked,
think we're going to stay on the card.
Yeah. oh,
I
yeah.
asked Drazzle that.
Yeah, don't
can
touch
I
the cart, just
ride
be
on
near, be
horse
close by.
safely because I'm tired.
Touching it's a bad idea.
I'm little and I've flown.
He asked horse nods.
Okay, and I thank
Mhm.
horse. Does horse eat chocolate?
Horse eats chocolate. Horse eats everything.
I give horse chocolate, and I will ride
Horse
on
horse even eats stable hands.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had to be careful about that one.
As long as he just eats the chocolate, and not me.
Horse is not a horse.
I'm
Yeah. I was
good.
just wondering if horse had his sword.
He would try.
Actually,
It would be better to put the sword in the wagon, not in the horse.
yeah.
Lonnie will be ahead unless Dracmir wants to torture himself. Lonnie will be ahead since she has the keep that keeps her cool.
Yeah.
Dracula would certainly be planning on scouting ahead
Yeah.
Yeah.
along the way. Whether that company can maintain, different question. But
You,
He
you
does-
can always take shifts.
He does realise it's difficult to scout ahead, and he had heard that most of the wagons of Ylaruam are also enchanted, like Drazzle's wagon,
Yeah.
which is the only way to travel through the nation.
Because otherwise
Yeah.
your beast will die.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll happily take a lift from horse.
And yeah, so you managed to spend about a week getting out of Ylaruam into the mountains.
Okay.
Every time you're stopped, you just show your paperwork, and they don't even ask you questions and
Yep.
let you pass with fresh provisions.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes. A pass from the office of the Sultan, or from the Sultan, is basically, if you question this, you're questioning the Sultan, don't do that shit.
And with a visible dragon on top of horse, no bandit in their right mind would even consider attacking you.
So we don't even get the fun of fighting off bandits. That's fine by me.
Well, the problem with that is dragons have a habit of being extremely vengeful.
And eating people.
That too.
And that sort of puts people off. Yeah.
So you'd expect that they'd want to capture a young dragon.
Oh yeah, but this one has friends.
Just for visuals, I'm not sitting on top of horse. I'm like a cat draped over horse's neck.
Yep.
I'm tired.
It's still, well, the thing is, we've got a protection from the excess heat, but it's still bloody hot.
Yeah.
And you don't have a hat.
No.
You are on the
Am I
other hand.
sunburned?
Not that you notice.
Oh.
Well, you got scales, so you won't. But you're white, so it's reflective. So you're actually better off than most of us.
Yes.
And you're shiny white, so it reflects badly on everyone else who looks at you.
Oh yeah, because you got the silver bits on the edge of your
Yeah,
scales. You
yeah.
glint in sunlight.
I do have a
You look
cloak though.
amazing.
So, in deference to other people, I might wear my cloak.
Yeah, but it might warm me up too much.
It's a billowing cloak. Would that heat me up?
No, that won't. Well, it's going to stop the breeze on you.
Yeah.
But you don't sweat, so it doesn't matter.
So yes, after a week
So
you
you
find
keep
yourself going up into the hills, and as you come up into the hills, the temperature drops noticeably until it feels normal again.
Okay.
You might want to take off your cool cloak.
Looking behind you, you
want
see
to-
the shimmering of the land of Ylaruam as a huge, just looks like a mirage of a place.
Like
Yeah.
a heat wave.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
heat wave everywhere.
Yeah.
All the heat
yeah,
haze stuff.
haze.
Yeah.
So how many sets of standing stone did we go through?
You went through only one at Ylaruam itself,
Okay.
but you did notice that only everyone but Drazzle, Cal Creeks, and Lowell went through it.
Yep. Well, okay. I mean, the rest of us, we didn't know what Caltrix and Lowell did because we went through separately to when they went through. So
Yeah.
And yes, you find yourself at the edge of Ylaruam.
Okay.
And you understand now why most people don't come here unless they have to.
Yes. Very good reason.
You have heard that the western edge is not as harsh because the curse is the worse you get towards the center.
Right. Yeah.
And Elven history shows a river running across the surface that just disappeared one day.
Wow, that's strong stuff. Sorry, the smell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If it bothers you, let me know.
No, it's fine. I'm used to stuff like that.
And if you were to look at a map, you could say where the river used to run based on contours.
Yeah.
And it ran all the way through the center of the country as one of the most prestigious and fertile rivers of the region.
And then they got cursed.
They also had a lot of the rarest plants here.
How close are we getting to the destination then?
So we're now
yeah.
in the next country.
Yes.
You're-
We're on the border of the next country.
Yep.
and where, what is it, Castleton or Castallan?
Castallan.
Castallan, which is where we're meeting my contact through Blackbeard.
Yep.
Is relatively close to the border.
Is that the boats?
Right, but it's not close to the water, but it's close to the contact to get the boat. But also, it was where it was believed the auction might be occurring.
Yes.
We had to go to the Thieves Guild or something.
Yeah, probably.
We can go to
Yeah.
Would you be able to get into a Thieves Guild?
He has
We're
the
gonna need
contact
him.
in the Thieves
I
Guild.
got the introduction from
Yeah.
that dude in
Yeah.
the...
Yeah.
The shop.
Place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. It had a name.
In Darrington.
So
No, this wasn't in Darrington.
Oh no, the other
That
one.
was
Yes.
in
Yeah.
Urendi.
Yeah.
So you actually passed through the town of Sinsa Menu, where you were convinced by
Is
Drazzle
that
to go
two
around.
different towns?
That's the single name of the Sinsa Menu.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
fun.
So it's Sinsa-Men-Nu, and Drazzle convinced you to go around the outside,
That's not hard.
which is basically a insult on the town, but he didn't care.
But also avoided
Yeah.
going through another two pairs of standing stones.
Yeah.
Yes.
This would be in Nithya.
It's the Nithian region of Ylaruam. They still have a region called Nithya, and it's considered the most cursed region of the land.
Oh wow.
Yes.
So maybe it's good to
Well,
be around town.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
this
think
is
anyone needed any convincing.
Yeah.
So we chose to go for the most cursed region.
well, it's considered cursed
It was the fastest
because an entire people got cancelled by the gods.
And these are the remnants of the cursed people still living in the
Can
land.
you imagine
Yeah.
being just cancelled?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They deleted their culture, they deleted their names, they deleted their language.
And then knowledge.
You wouldn't actually know if you got totally cancelled by the gods because you would cease to exist, wouldn't you?
Except these people, because of the curse, know it.
Oh, that's...
I'd say curses are not nice.
Yeah, because the survivors didn't have the memory block that everybody else got.
And they
know
are.
who they were.
They
who they
know
are.
who they were and why.
And they know that if they ever leave their land, they lose everything that they are.
And that they've lost
Yeah.
it already. Really.
Oh no, they've lost a lot, but they lose everything else if they leave the land.
Like,
So
when they
all
leave the land,
memory.
They
They basically get memory wiped.
They turn into a different person. Yeah,
So they are nobody
kinda worse
once they
than
leave their
Dracula.
land.
yeah.
that'd be like that's committing suicide.
Basically,
Yeah.
You kill who you are.
yes.
It is death
Yeah.
of personality.
Your body lives, the rest of you is gone.
And there are
Yeah.
a couple of those found every year who don't die in the desert.
Yeah, adults with no memory. Well, that's the thing. Having no memory and in that desert, you don't know enough to survive.
Yes, that's
So,
why
yeah.
only a couple are ever found each year.
Yeah, usually someone who's walked outside and then crawled into somebody's cart.
So how long is the traveling day?
So it took you a week to get there.
Okay.
And you find, and I'll say the week ends you in Castallan after passing through what's called the Jutnavalk Pass. What you do see passing through is that there seems to be some sort of city up in the mountains.
Do we get any impression of what that city's like?
Does anyone know Jonton or Giant?
I think I learned.
Possibly.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Lonnie might.
Let me double check
Actually,
what
I think that's one of the ones you put on my list. It is.
Dracnima knows Giant.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
We
Yeah,
have at
yes, you
least
do
two.
hear songs of war and conquest in Giant coming from there.
Yeah, that sounds like giants.
Okay. So places we do not want to go unless
We do not
Lonnie
want to
wants
go.
to.
We don't want to go to your
Hunt
Yeah,
for
like
some more
fish,
giants.
And
Does it sound like it's being sung by Giant?
it does.
Just in Giant tongue.
It does
Both.
sound like it's been sung by giants because it's carrying through the air from a great distance.
Those are big voices with big
And
lungs.
most of the stories are about how every other race is inferior and deserves to die.
Ow.
They are a plague upon this world and have destroyed it, and must be extinguished.
Sounds like some pretty metal songs. Not gonna lie.
Yes. You still don't want to go near them.
So the rumors are that the giants were the first sentient species,
Oh.
and that they believe everyone else is a plague. But
Yeah, well, everyone else was introduced after them, therefore they're all lesser, obviously. Rather than these are the improved models. They don't want to think about that.
that is the rumor of it, and that the dragons destroyed their culture.
Yeah. Lots of cultural level violence around this place.
Yep, and so there is a big hatred between dragons and giants. They don't know why the dragons hate them,
Yeah.
but you know why the giants hate the dragons. Much like the halflings hate the dwarves.
Yes.
That's the difference I didn't know about.
Because the dwarves did exactly the same thing to the halflings. They eradicated the culture so much, they lost their language.
Wow.
They made them learn dwarven instead of halfling for many generations.
Which is why the present halfling land is so very, very hardline on making sure they get to keep their culture. And
They haven't managed to regain their language. Not even their
Not yet.
sages know it.
that would be interesting to give them as a present.
It would, but it's
Not
also
even possible?
hard for them to learn. Because of what the dwarves did to them.
Oh. Yeah. I'll talk to Drazzle, we'll work something out.
It's the equivalent of the Nithian curse.
I would say.
Oh.
So I said.
Except was it done at the god level?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Some of those things are what makes them hate each other so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Because it can't be undone. They've actually had their language erased from that culture.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So we've made it to Castallan.
And here you see that there are lots of people here. It is probably the biggest market you've been in outside of Darrakan City itself. Ylaruam was huge, but this is multicultural. This one doesn't care who's here, where you're from, what you do. As
You've got
long
money, cool.
as you've got money, you're welcome.
Yeah.
This is likely where we may be able to find some information, more solid information.
This is also where you think that anything is for sale.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
including the
scary.
information that you might be thinking of.
And this is where you have an introduction to the Thieves Guild.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nudge you forward. If you go
So-
to this. So maybe start looking for some thieves camp.
Well, perhaps it's appropriate to find a place for accommodation.
Yeah. So in terms of what
And this is an actual city. So, as an actual city, it is big, sprawling, and it has far more defensive spots than you've ever seen in any city so far.
What sort of tavern are we going to look for then, guys?
So, Blackbeard has set us up with a ship that will take us a little further.
So the ship will be in Sutterford, and you're down here at the moment.
Okay. So it's all
The ship is designed if we have to go up towards the Kingdom of Ostland or further to the Kingdom of Estland.
Okay.
Exactly.
But here's where we were going to try and find out.
So we need to figure out
Info.
where we need to
Yep.
go, but there's a ship available in Swordsburg.
Yeah.
If I can get in contact with.
And I did write down where they were, but I didn't put them in there.
I put the contact
Well,
with
if you
the
get
castle
a
and
place
the
that
ship
would be
was built
appropriate
in,
for
Swordsburg.
what you're doing, and I don't know if you can if what you're doing is worth having any visible association with us at the time, and we'll find a place.
Cities is my jam, so I could,
Yeah, yeah.
I could potentially track you guys down if I need
Oh, yeah.
to. But I don't know, do we want more of us to go? Is anybody else potentially able to interact with a Thieves Guild without pissing them off?
It would be
I can
weird
certainly
if I
find
did.
them.
I would be
Yes.
muscle more
But-
than anything, but I'm not helpful.
I could do it, but I would be doing it from a quite
If
different point of view.
My presence
So,
will help him have
There were
more.
3 captains that the Blackbeard told you about
Yep.
that may be able to help you. One is Eric the Viking,
Yep.
one is
Of course.
Silkbeard, and one is Thorkel.
Okay.
And they each are pirate captains of dragon boats,
Okay.
or longships as they're normally called.
Yeah.
I suppose I can hit the Thieves Guild by myself, and that way at least if it goes pear-shaped, I'm the
By the
Yeah,
looks of
so-
this city, you'd expect them to be maybe 4 or 5 separate guilds because of the sheer size of it. It is almost as big as Sliatus City itself, which is considered one of the biggest cities in the world.
So now we're trying to work out which guild would be the best. Which one have I got the introduction to?
Your introduction will be good for any guild.
Okay, are you able to make...
It's the any guild that you speak to will probably know about what's been sold.
Will I be able to work out which guild would be the best
Best one, yeah.
Am I able to get the vibe, the...
Listening type thing. at a
Whichever
tavern.
one you get the ear of will be able to give you more information. So talking to one guild doesn't discount another guild.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if the first one you contact, you go basically, who is the best people to talk to find out this sort of information? If it's not you, I'll pay you for the information on who he is.
Yep. So
So-
I think
And it's
people and
also the
stuff.
fact that if the Devastation Orb is being auctioned off in this place, probably all 5 of them know about it.
Yeah.
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 Alright.
Is it 5 or 3?
It varies depending on
Lots.
time.
Yeah.
Basically, on the way to the inn, I'll see if I can find reference to a guild.
Okay, I'll give you a perception roll.
Perception.
So don't use my dice.
Because a city like this would fluctuate between how many guilds are there,
That's a 15 on the dice.
which is a good on the
It's not
dice.
full yet, which is, you know.
Where are we? Characters. Talkers. Now, perception was it? Skills, where are you? That's plus 16. Sorry, plus 6, so that's 21. Now, if I'm moving slowly, I think I can take advantage of that, but what is moving that slowly?
Okay, moving through the city, you do find what you recognize as guild signs. Because you're in the trade, you see them. Other people just see them as parts of other stuff. And you think you'll be able to go and actually represent yourself, as long as you're not with everyone else.
Yeah, it's what I figured.
Yeah.
Most guilds don't like outsiders knowing their stuff, unless, of course, you got a letter of introduction.
Which I do. Good job.
And that's good for introducing you in the city.
God, I just realised what's going to be a problem. I knew I should have done sleight of hand on you.
And given me the sword.
We should screw you just as much. I just realised I got the sword that's going to cause me trouble. But I've got a reasonable social skill, so let's have a crack.
So yes, you find yourself in a gaming den with all sorts of games of chance going around you. Everyone's playing so badly you think you could probably walk out with a small fortune.
Inside check to see. I'm suspecting that some of these people are probably playing badly.
Give me an insight roll.
As a scam.
As a scam. Now you screw me. Insight is +6, I believe. Yes, it is. So it's a 14. But let me just double check something. What are my special abilities? Was never mind. Yeah, make it up for 14.
Okay, looking around, you think you have a chance against most of these newbies who don't seem to know what they're doing. Though, as you're thinking that thought, you do realize that everyone here is cheating outrageously. Not one person is playing the actual rules of the game as you learned it.
Okay.
So the more you cheat, the more you win, apparently.
Yeah, but
So you're not gambling, you're competing on cheatingness.
Yep. And the people who actually gamble are losing outrageously.
Yes.
So, like
Because
I said,
they're
everyone
not-
who's gambling is losing.
Yes. Yes, because the game is actually cheating, and so if you're gambling, you're not playing the right game.
And gamblers who come in here don't know that.
Yeah.
So yes, you did technically succeed on the roll. As you find yourself before the bullpit master, who seems to be in charge of everything. He looks you up and down and says, what are you here for?
here to see. I'm here to meet with the committee. Like, I'm using Thieves' Cant to basically say, like, whatever the sort of correct phrase would be, like the committee or.
You hear a sort of muffled voice going, "No, you're not. He's here to gamble." But it's like he sort of looks around. He doesn't seem to really notice.
You know that spell.
Yeah.
I feel like I've missed something. It's
The sword.
The sword was
Sword.
talking.
Ah.
And he says,
I just pretended I didn't hear anything.
"Come this way."
Yeah.
Have you travelled far?
Yes, I travelled from the city where I got the.
And he hears, "No, not at all."
It's a long walk.
Like I said, I'm basically going to make a deceit check to pretend like I'm not actually.
I'm happy for you to successfully make that check.
Yeah, I have I received some papers from a friend in the city of.
RND City.
Yeah, Randy City.
It says, I'm sure you can put that towards our leader. He's the one who does most of the reading.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to insult him by damaging any paperwork beforehand.
No.
So he takes you into a room with, you see about 10 or 15 people with sort of resting, dozing a bit as they're most likely on other duties.
Other duties or other drugs?
No, other duties at different times.
And
So
that's
this
not-
is where they sleep, so the authorities can't find
No,
them.
it's not in combat, but I can get it as a bonus action. I can just sort of casually look around and see if I can detect anything, any hidden creatures or objects, like anything that's.
Anyone being particularly sneaky.
Okay, so I'll give you a perception to see if you can detect them.
That screw me.
Dice are very good at doing that at the most opportune moment.
18 on the dice.
18 on the dice. You can
Nice.
see that there are at least 3 crossbowmen with heavy crossbows in hidden compartments around the room.
Okay. Well, it's 24 all up. And if it is important to you, my passive perception is 21.
Well, you've done an active, so yeah.
Okay, so, and you find yourself taken to this nice, simple, plain-looking chair, the simplest chair in the room. And there's a guy with a big, bushy beard. Probably one of the biggest beards you've seen. And he looks you up and down and says, "You a sailor?"
Yes, I am. And there's a subtle nod to...
Without that beard, John.
There's a subtle nod to the sort of... I'm standing in such a way that's sort of obvious that I'm standing in the best position not to be shot by.
You realise from the way that the crossbowmen are positioned, they're positioned so that they have the best cover of the room. So at any point you're in sight of two of them.
So sitting down is probably your best bet.
They are designed to hit anyone who is... So while standing in front of the guy, you're in position of all three.
Okay. Alright. So I have sailed a bit around the seas of Fails.
Have we met on the ocean, he says. Who have you sailed for? Do you know your flags or your ships?
I assume I do.
Do you wish to say your flags or your ships?
I'll say the ones that would be...
A bit naughty.
A bit naughty, but not some of the ones that have been on that are terribly naughty.
Did you sail with any of the pirates?
I probably have.
Okay, so pirate ships that would have come out of that region.
I was going to say, you just finished doing all your pirate ships.
I did.
He did a blog, he's got all their names and their histories.
They'll be
and-
coming out next month.
So I'm helping him out here by getting him to use some.
Yeah. Well, some of the histories were really interesting.
So there is the ship known as the Swashbuckler with Captain Emma Orksey. She is one of the most ruthless captains in the oceans. With her small galley, she has sunk more ships with many people on board it that should easily have crushed that ship.
So he'd be really impressed.
Okay, that'll work.
And the fact that you still have all your limbs attached speaks highly of you, he
Oh,
says.
yeah.
She has a habit of dismembering people who are not polite to her.
I'm very good at being polite when needed.
And you hear this, "No, he's not."
Yeah. It's going to be an endless source of amusement, I can see.
I just pull out my bedroll. Excuse me, and wrapping the sword in it.
I wonder if it's muffled.
Okay.
It is slightly muffled.
Okay.
Only slightly.
It was slightly muffled in the scabbard to begin with.
Oh, okay. I wonder if you, like, wrapped cloth around the top of the scabbard, whether that would do it without having to put it in your bedroll.
It might or might not.
I apologise for my sword.
Oh, you've got one of those swords.
Unfortunately, yes.
It can be quite fortunate.
In my line of work, its peculiarities can be quite troubling.
And for some reason it doesn't answer or say anything at that point.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. Wait for the first combat.
A mutual friend in the city of Tyranny suggested you may be able to assist with some information.
Anyone for a fellow pirate, he says.
I understand that there may be an auction for certain rare items.
There's always auctions for rare items. Are you looking for any person in particular?
We don't have a person's name, do we?
Well, he was talking about auctioning of people.
No, it wasn't people.
Yeah, people.
It was more objects.
Objects, ships, castles.
Magical artifacts.
They always come through here. Magical artifacts. This is one of the biggest black market sale places for magical artifacts.
This particular artifact would be exceptionally rare and quite wanted.
Just about every item sold here is exceptionally rare and quite wanted, mainly because the person who previously had it didn't want it to be sold.
Okay.
Do you have anything in particular in mind? Are you talking about a... we do have a Holy Avenger going at the moment. Used to belong to a paladin who no longer needs it. There is a...
Is that what Pain has?
It is exactly what Pain has, but it's a different sword.
Wow.
There is a Belt of Giant Strength. Except the giant in question wants his strength back. So there's a slight problem with that one. But hey, as long as you're fast enough, and he's sort of feeble at the moment.
You may be interested in that one.
There is the we have come across a couple of bottles of oil of sunlight that the elves are trying to get their hands back on.
I'm making it like just remembering that my character pretty much remembers everything he hears.
And that we also have managed to get ourselves a staff made out of the Tree of Life.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, that one is a little more wanted by the elves than the oil, but hey, you get that every now and then.
What I was interested in is something more along the lines of...
Weapon?
Yeah, making, say, a city disappear.
Well, we have on our books at the moment a castle that if you fly it up high enough over a city and just turn off its power, it will come down and completely crush the city.
I want that.
Unfortunately, you destroy the castle at the same time, but hey, it will devastate everything. Something smaller? I'm sure it will devastate something smaller as well.
No, I was actually thinking of an artifact that was a bit smaller.
Okay, so I have...
Is there a reason why you can't say, I just want this orb of devastation?
Because we're not supposed to be saying anything.
We're on a secret mission here.
Okay,
I'm trying desperately to get this guy to, without me actually saying exactly what I'm after.
He says, I got something that's probably...
Spear of destruction?
Don't have a spear of destruction.
I'm not,
but I do have
I presume I'm not there.
what apparently is the Sword of Halav. Apparently it was lost by the Karamikans many years ago before...
Yeah, I don't have trained history, but I am from Vaeris.
It's one of the bordering nations. It was one at the... a person from one of the principalities, one of the regions of Vaeris, gave up his land to the Emperor and was gifted the nation of Traldara, which he renamed the Grand Duchy of Karamikos. So the Sword of Halav is supposed to come from that region. It is said to be able to lay waste to whole armies.
Wow.
They're
not cities.
Preferably whole armies of humanoids, as opposed to armies of humans or other races.
Yeah, not quite what I'm after. I'd heard rumours of something else, something a bit more
devastating,
potent.
Something more potent
with
than that.
A lot of interest from members of many nations.
He thinks for a bit and says, well, he does have a lot of Alfredians wanting to track down something. He's heard of the some elemental weapons. They are supposed to be in this region and were stolen from them, they say.
Is that ticking our boxes? I think it might be.
Elemental would certainly tick the boxes of the Devastation Orb.
So he believes one is a dagger, one is a trident, one is a spear.
I'm basically remembering all this stuff because I'm going to have to ask Llewell or someone else in the party who may know more about magical items and history than I do.
Warlocks are based around history rather than arcana. So yeah, Llewell is definitely the person to talk to.
To be honest, I have no idea what the different types of spells... I know you do magic.
You couldn't take anyone with you.
Okay, so he describes one as a trident that they call Drown. and one is a war pick that they call Iron Fang. One is a dagger they call Tinder Strike, and one is a spear they call Windbane. The four elemental weapons that were apparently stolen from the Alphatians.
So are we looking for a
cool as hell,
spear or a
AKA.
sphere?
A sphere.
Yeah.
Actually, that's low.
Yeah.
So, from what he's
Is
describing,
there,
they don't have it.
maybe...
They don't have those things for sale, but that's what the Alphatians are currently looking for, and
Right.
their rumors are they will destroy anything in the path to get those items once they hear about it.
Right.
It's that level of devastation. They could
So-
give a rumor that it's in a city and see what the Alphatians do.
Ah,
Is there a city you want wiped out?
no,
That's a great way to watch it.
would you be able to point me in the direction of somebody who's a bit more... Maybe
Specialist?
a bit more knowledgeable of specialty auctions.
Says, well, he's the one who likes to keep his ear to the ground and supply bodies to do various heists and stuff like that. But there is another group he knows of called the Hand of... Where is the...
sorry.
Well, you can call it that if you like.
No.
So,
I'm not there.
Hand of Castallan.
They're in the city, or...
That's the city that you're in.
Yeah.
And they are very good at smuggling things through the city and get their hands on many merchandise. So that might be something a little more smaller scale if that's what you're looking for, instead of these god-shaking powers that wander through here. Which one? He says. There are hundreds of them, and they each have their items that they let fall to the planet every now and then and disrupt our lives.
I'm just trying to look at Can I get insight? I'm suspicious this guy might actually suspect that what I'm asking is just being very...
You can make an insight roll. See if he has some idea.
Yeah, of course you got to screw me now.
We have table rules if you want to use
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we
Yes,
do.
we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I could have made it by 3 and 8, but that's not...
Please don't be like
Was that one worse?
No, it's better. By 2.
Yes.
I make it
Yeah.
an 8 using my ability to make it a 14.
Okay, so looking at it, you go. He probably has some idea of what you're looking for, but he's talking about what he knows and not what he speculates.
What?
He's not speculating on things he doesn't
No.
have
What?
access to.
Could you maybe point me in the direction of someone who may have something that I like? If you have the thought?
Sure, he says, though my hand seems to be a little light at the moment.
Funny.
Mm-hmm. Need to weigh his hand down.
I love that.
Okay, how much do I think would be appropriate, and can I use...
You're probably looking at, depending on how much you want to bribe him, 10 gold would be the least you'd go for, about 500 would be the most you'd go for.
I'll start off with... say 100.
Okay, you give him 100 gold. He checks it to make sure it's real gold.
It's good Viatin gold.
Yeah, I thought it felt a bit light.
Just waiting for something.
Hey, you do realise that the Thyahatans are also known as the ones most likely to screw everyone else out of stuff. So their
Does
reputation
that mean
for...
they get more respect?
They do get a bit more respect for their bureaucracy, but they're basically ridiculed by everyone else at every
I'll slip
opportunity.
him another 10.
Yeah.
He's happy with the gold. He just wanted to ridicule you for giving him Thyahan gold.
Yes. They're like a big corporation. The way they make money is by screwing people over and getting.
Yeah, I was more confident with my.
You believe that they use 95% the amount of gold other people use in the coin, so that they save 5% on every gold coin they make.
Question for picking pockets. That's sleight of hand. Isn't
It is sleight of hand, yes.
Not a place I'd do that.
No, probably.
I'm half tempted to do it, but more along the lines of to pay with his own pouch as well.
Note that he's probably notably higher level than you, and will probably detect it.
It is 15, dude.
It's
Yeah, I know.
It feels like the things tend to.
Yeah.
Yes, it could
it's
get me
possibly
killed.
too much risk
But
for.
there's more eyes on you than just his.
I'll live for the second, but if he asks for more money,
You can think about it.
I won't
Aren't
try
there
that
like
option.
3 crossbows pointed at you?
There are.
He
He bounces.
Let's give it a biscuit, my friends.
He bounces the coins in his hand quite skillfully, as he says, "You want to go to the tavern known as the Wink and the Kiss.
Ooh.
And that's in this town, yeah?
It is in this town. It is in the northern quadrant to the east of the river.
Does that mean there's a tavern called A Hug and a Couple?
There's always taverns called various things." And he says, "You want to go
That'd be one of those
and
interesting
speak
places.
to Helera Ravenfast. I'm sure that they will be able to come to your accommodation for an item."
Thank you very much for your help.
Just thank you for your sponsorship.
It's so funny when they stretch all the walk.
And next time you see Bargle, give him a swift kick for that.
I will.
It says whichever one you find.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's multiple bottles, is there?
He says yes. One worse than the other.
I'm going to head to this other tavern.
You know what's
Okay.
on my hands right now? They got orange or lemon.
So coming out, you catch up with the others who have been loitering near a tavern with the dragon sampling the local coffees and finding it very much lacking.
I would have expected we'd effectively got to a tavern, arranged accommodation and things like that, either before or after, like actually was.
Oh yeah, we'll have
doing
time
stuff,
for that.
so.
Yeah, I would say Dracula would have found one already and sent note to where we should
I'm
be.
assuming it's not too hard to track down where the dragon went.
You just ask, have you seen a bouncing white dragon?
And it's not the only dragon you've seen in the city.
How many other dragons are there?
You've seen probably about 10-15 juvenile dragons in chains.
Oh, in
chains.
chains.
Oh.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
You're the only one not in chains.
So it's easy to find.
We stayed very
Is
close to Lonnie.
Drazzle with us?
Drazzle is very unhappy, but
Yeah.
Drazzle's trying very hard not to burn the place down.
I'm between Drazzle and Lani, and
okay.
yeah, I am not sampling local coffee.
And considering
right now.
Drazzle is a water type person, him wanting to burn the place down shows you just how annoyed he is.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's a lot harder to flood the place.
The first guild I went to, not really, but he mentioned these things.
Okay.
So I gather you and Clue are all
I
making
mentioned everything exactly as he
plans.
said.
Okay.
So it seems like maybe we should make
And
some lodgings.
Lowell realizes that this guy here is talking about the staff he has is the original Treekeeper's staff
Wow.
that had been stolen from the elves probably close to
Wow.
a century ago or more. And the elves have been hunting for it for quite a while. It's probably one of Elsindal's oldest artifacts because he had it before he became a god and it was an artifact then.
Okay.
It was apparently made from the world tree, not the tree of life.
Oh.
The world tree. That's a big deal.
This is
Gifted to him by Terror.
Yeah.
This
is-
Which is Mother Earth.
Before you go too crazy, remember we've got
I know we have a
main
mission. I know we have a main mission to do. But if I can't
We
get to
were
this one,
just
I'm
trying
going
to
to be
say
telling
that
people
you
where it
guys
is.
Just having the oil of sunlight is enough to send the elves here.
Yeah.
So, do you reckon the elves would like us if we could potentially...
If we got either the oil or the staff or both, we would be fated for years.
Let us see if the other contact we've got can get us the ore, and if we can work out both.
If we can...
That would help you your goals.
Oh, God. But not just my goals. It is something that I want and need to do. Whether I can get away with doing it is a different thing. And yes, we've got to do this thing first because this has a time limit that those ones don't.
Well, but they do have a time limit.
Because if they get sold, they're still going to exist afterwards. We can track them down.
But now we actually know where they are.
Yes.
Where they've been.
Right at the moment, we know where they are. Okay, do I know of a way, because I don't actually have a spell for doing this, do I know of a way, unless I could get a scroll of it, to send a message quickly home?
You do, but you don't think it will work from here.
Okay.
This place is designed to stop magical intervention.
But of course, you could send a message back to Redrian,
Yeah.
I was going to say, what about Redrian?
and he could get a message directly into Elfheim
Yes.
through the Night River
Yeah.
Inn,
And
if it was appropriate.
And Redrin's staff should work here, even when
Yeah.
other stuff won't. Potentially.
Yeah,
It's definitely worth a try.
it's definitely a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, so yeah, that's with Redrin staff. It's a non-question. So I will, having learnt that, the first thing I'm going to do is go up to my room,
And cry.
And-
No, sorry.
talk to Redrin.
Yeah.
Okay, as you activate the staff, you hear the strangest laughter you've ever heard, and someone
Oh,
go,
no.
"Greetings, Lual. I'm glad you called."
Uh-oh.
Do I recognise that
Is that
voice?
You
my
do
role?
not.
Who are you?
You have called from my town.
Ah,
I broke no others.
fair enough. Sorry to bother you.
I am here now, and I know who you are, and what you may yet be.
God, where's Drazzle when you need him?
He warned us that this is a bad town to try communication magic in. Problem with
But the
problem
bait
with
was
war.
I'm
really
going to turn it
good.
off.
It doesn't turn off.
Oh, sorry.
Problem with warlocks that he just so clever.
Alright, so what happened there
Is it
was,
appropriate that that band is called
I know who you are and who you may yet be.
Yeah.
Tune in next week to find out.
I think that's Jeremy giving us a...
I think that is a good point to finish, as Lual is going, "You won't turn off!"
Oh, yeah.
And next session, he can continue his conversation.
Ow. That sounds dire, but...
As Lual might realize he's speaking to Loki.
Yeah.
Lucky Lord.
Maybe you should put Darion on the line.
Maybe.
He's named after a Sultan.
There is a reason why this place still exists.
Just the point. You have knowledge of history and arcana.
Yeah. Well, history.
Well, you could have at least made a history roll and potentially made another roll up just before you decided to use the staff.
He's never been here, and he's never actually
Yeah,
had a
it's
chance,
massive.
had it
Yeah,
interfered
sure,
with
yeah.
before.
Yeah.
This is the first time he's actually had another god intervene.
Yeah, to be fair, that's...
Yes. I've contacted gods before, but having a god interfering directly in what another god's doing, yeah, not so much right in front of me.
That's not a good thing.
No, but hey, it's Loki, and this is his place.
He's just basically tried to call another god in his temple. His temple is this entire city.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's how crazy he is. Okay, so we'll call tonight a end, and we will catch everyone for next session in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
And
Paul, at least if we get the opportunity to think about it.
How are you going
It's
to negotiate your way
It's
out?
Loki. Nothing I'm going to say, nothing I'm going to plan to say is actually going to be useful.
no, actually, Loki does provide a lot of opportunity.
Oh yeah.
Just pick
But
him up
it's-
by one hand, sway him back and forth, and go puny god.
Yeah.
I'm not the Hulk.
You need Lonnie.
I was about to say that would be Lani's reaction.
That'd be awesome.
Oh dear.
Play homage to my
So,
brother.
thank you very much, Jeremy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
You did?
We'll let you get off and get some sleep.
All good. Tomorrow night we're expecting Shadow and Nami.
We're expecting D&D in the Forest of Alfheim, chasing the unicorn before the beholder gets it.
Oh, okay. Along with our the other elven adventurer.
Yeah, I've let it delayed enough that I want them to pick up the story and see where it goes.
Okay. Cool. Dimitri's back again.
He is. And
It's been such a long time.
because Tuesday and Friday are touching the story, I need to actually continue that story to make it make sense.
To find out what happens.
Yes, so happy actually.
It is all good.
Until
So-
I-
Okay.
you wanna
Have a
go?
good night, all.
Yes.
Thanks very much. I'll
Have a
see
good
you
night.
guys next week or the week after.
Good night.
Have a good
Yeah.
night.
Have a good night.